kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
Hello? My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Jets. There he is. I keep saying it. We got to have a night where we all go visit that dude. He's got a YouTube page. We got to go say hello to this guy, man. I love the accordion playing Jets fan. I don't even know how I found him. It's just one day, I was looking at accordion, guys, and he did that at the end. J.E.T. like, get out of here. Look at this guy. So what's up, everybody? We are back. This is GreenBean, and you are now watching this week's Thursday Thick of It. If you're listening to it after the fact on your platform of choice, whether that's Google Pods, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, what have you, I want to say hello to you too. It's nice to have everybody here. This is a fun time to be a Jets fan. Look, in Jets fashion, guys, we got good news, but nothing happened. You get it? You see, that's us. Usually when teams make a trade, they find out something. It's done. Not us. No. We get good news. Yeah. And nothing happened. We got to wait. And now everybody's mad again. Everybody's mad at us. Look at this. Want to say hello to Buffalo Jets fan for checking in first. Good to see you, buddy. We have your partner coming on later tonight, Boy Green, everybody. Boy Green will be here with us at 9 p.m. hanging out. When Buffalo comes on, who knows? I've invited him numerous times. He always says no. So we'll see what he's all about if he ever wants to grace us over here in GreenBeanville. Now that I got Gunny, maybe he'll come on. We'll see. Maybe Gunny will be the attractor for Buffalo. I don't know. It's not Jeremy, I'll tell you that. Not me or Jeremy. Definitely not Wat2K. But, yeah, guys, so look, we're going to have a fun show tonight. Lots of free agent stuff has happened. Interestingly, most of it is on the outside. So we're losing guys at a pretty fast rate, a rate that we're not used to seeing, and we have not had the influx we're used to seeing. Usually, I mean, you could take the last 5 years of day one, and any of those day one would have been more than we have so far leading up to this point. We have nothing. We have one guy. One dude. So it's interesting. We're going to talk about all that stuff. We'll obviously broach the Aaron Rodgers fiasco. What's going on with that? The media response, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a fun night. And again, Boy Green will be stopping by at about 9 p.m., I'd say. Boy Green's known to show up early, so maybe he does that too. And that'll be super cool. He's welcome anytime he wants to. But guys, before we do that, I want to just mention that we do have a sponsor for the show. You guys know and love them by now. Most of you guys are probably using their products. It's the one and only Manscaped, and we know them as the finest in below-the-waist men's grooming. Products such as the Lawnmower 4.0, the buzzer with the flashlight. Make sure you can see. If there's any place that you want to see what you're doing, I'm going to throw it in the ring. It's got to be the balls. That's up there, isn't it? It's got to be the balls. You want to know what you're doing. The flashlight changes everything. We have ear and nose hair trimmers like the Weed Whacker and all these products I use daily. But recently, guys, as you have been told on this very show, Manscaped has now moved over into the beard realm. I am officially out of their oil. I'm halfway done with the balm. I got to go get some more. But we have beard oils, beard balms, great products too, like the scissors, the combs, the brushes, all that stuff is fantastic. But the creme de la creme is the Beard Hedger Pro. 20 settings on the same device. You don't need a million little pieces. And you can save 20% on all of these products when you get to checkout on their website by using the promo code GreenBean. The link is in the description of this very video. It's down there. It says Manscaped. Click the link, buy your stuff, save yourself 20% before you leave. Don't forget to do that using the promo code GreenBean. And as always, you will receive free international shipping. Guys, without further ado, let us bring on our co-host who's dying to talk more Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he had his fill. Let's say hello to the one and only Gunny Gunderson. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, GreenBean? How y'all doing tonight? I am ecstatic. I don't know how else to explain it. This doesn't happen to the Jets. So, yes, I'm pumped for tonight's show. I'm pumped for every show we always do, but I'm specifically pumped for tonight's show. Lots to talk about. Can't wait to get to it.
Well, let me ask you, just starting right from there. Mm-hmm. We got really good news yesterday. Now, I was in the dentist chair, Gunny. I was literally in the dentist chair when this news broke. So I hear my phone. My phone's on the chair in the corner of the room. I hear bzz, 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 and I know what it is, but I'm my teeth cleaned and everything. Now, this is what happens when you make appointments 6 months in advance, right? They don't know it's going to be on the day Aaron Rodgers announces anything. But so he announces it, and he says, my intention is to play. And I intend to play with the New York Jets. Holy shit, that's a huge statement. But then nothing happened. So we don't have a quarterback. He's not a Jet yet. There's a holdup. He went out and said, hey, guys, it's not me. Everybody thinks it's me. It ain't me. I'm ready to go. It's the Green Bay Packers who we are hearing kind of changed the deal. They had it in principle, and they said, you know what, on second thought, we want more. What do you think about this? Where is it going? How long is it going to take? Is it bullshit? Is it understandable? Where are you with this whole thing?
So I've been up and down about it, man. Like I actually released my video yesterday already saying Aaron Rodgers is a Jet because I'm that confident that this was the biggest piece I think the majority of us were concerned about was whether or not, one, he was going to retire, which I don't think any of us really believed he was going to. But most importantly, was he going to want to be a Jet, right? So when you put those two things in the same sentence yesterday, to me, it's a done deal. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a New York Jet. And I think him going out and stating as such on the Pat McAfee show in front of 500,000 freaking live viewers is because he wants to put the pressure on the Green Bay Packers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants the Jets to give up too much to get him. I think he understands he's coming over here to go ahead and try to go ahead and get to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, like win. And I don't think he wants to go ahead and give the Packers any kind of advantage in terms of getting a higher price point. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, the leverage is in the Packers court. You know what I'm saying? The Jets have no choice because they're desperate. Desperate for what? The biggest thing we had to worry about was whether or not Aaron Rodgers wanted to come play here. He just told us yesterday, yeah, I want to play and I want to play for the Jets. Like he literally said that. He wasn't forced to do it. He didn't say I need to go play for the Jets or they're the only ones coming out. No, he says I want to play and I want to play for the Jets. And a lot of people are going to say, well, he almost retired. You know, he was 90% out, 10% in. You're going to get a 10% commitment. I don't think so. If anything, I believe him stating that he's choosing to come back dawns very well for the Jets. He went into that darkness retreat at 90% retired. Yeah, it's weird. Comes out and felt disrespected because he thought he had all the time in the world per the Packers conversation that he's had with them. And now he's like, oh, I'm just getting pushed to the side like I haven't been one of the best quarterbacks of all time for this franchise. Okay. All right, I want to play again, and I want to go for the Jets. I feel like there's a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And I'm sorry, man. Like the last time we saw that happen with this grunt-old quarterback that was drafted by his team, multi-Super Bowl champion, MVP, he went to another team, and the Bucs wound up winning the Super Bowl. So for me, I'm seeing the same kind of thing coming to fruition. You heard Giselle talk about how Tom Brady felt like, the reason why he left was because he felt unappreciated or disrespected. And now we're hearing it come out of Rodgers' mouth himself yesterday that he also felt that way. I think the pressure is on the Packers, especially since they changed the deal once it came to fruition that Rodgers decided he wanted to be a Jet. I think the reason why, though, is because of the Derek Carr situation. I think once Carr came off the table, they thought, ooh, now we have all the leverage. Yeah. But in all actuality, Aaron just told the world it's on y'all. Everybody knows y'all want to see Love play. If y'all want to keep playing this game and have to wait till you owe that man that $60 million bonus that they're clearly are kind of tight on the cap, then we'll play the game. We can play this game, and it doesn't really affect the Jets. The longer they hold this out for, you know what? I would laugh if they tried to push this all the way to June, and we already had the draft. That means the Jets get to use their draft picks this year, and we're going to mortgage the future draft picks that could be much later with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Like, they're really not in the position, in my opinion, of leverage, of strength. I think there's going to be a median. I still don't believe it's going to be a first rounders coming out of this, but I think right now it's pressure's on the Packers. And I love it. Interesting
take, Gunny. I have to say. Now, look, I can go either way. Honestly, I did a live stream earlier and I explored in a devil's advocate type of a way. what leverage, I mean, what strength we do have, right? So when you look at our side, though, right? So we look, all right, like you said, the first thing was we want to see if this guy even wants to play for us, right?
Yeah.
It's huge. If he doesn't want to, it's not happening. It's over. He doesn't have to do anything, even though he doesn't have a traditional no trade clause. He still controls his own destiny, right? He's got the keys to the kingdom here. So he says he wants to come play with us, but like you just said, I think the reason why the Packers are kind of puffing out their chests a little bit is they do see Jimmy G's gone, Carr's gone, Brissett's gone, Baker Mayfield's gone, fucking Sam Darnold's gone. Like everybody, any real quarterbacks of consequence, except our guy, you and me. Our Gardner Minshew's still hanging out there. So
not anymore.
He's still
not anymore. Gardner's gone.
Where'd he go?
Gardner's going to the Colts, I believe.
Oh, I didn't see that one. So even Minshew.
Yeah, it hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings.
Dude, that's a smart move by the Colts, bro. I'm telling you, they're smart.
For $3.5 million, GreenBean.
That's nothing.
$3.5 million. That's nothing.
Mike White got more. Mike White got more than Minshew.
And Minshew.
So you look at this, right? So all these guys are gone. Now they know damn well that the New York Jets put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. Not only just like physically, but like optically. They know it. So granted, you're 100% correct. Like they don't have the most leverage either, but they do in the sense that if they just say, screw it, we'll just keep them. It's the same situation we had last year. Like worst case scenario for them is, hey, buddy, we're going to keep you, but I don't want to play for you. Sorry, you're under contract. Then retire. Like they could do that. Now you have June 1st is, coming, and then they have September 1st when a $56 million clause kicks in, and then they owe $25 million next year. So there's a lot going on here, and chances are they're not going to push it that way. But the truth is we're kind of in a position too here. Like we don't have any other choice. What is it, Zach? I mean, who's left, Gunny? Who do you go to at this point? Carson Wentz? Who?
God, no.
Right?
I was looking at it earlier, and I think to me, Marcus Mariota's probably the best option we got.
Oh my God, Gunny!
And that's sad. It's sad to say it. I'm sorry, and I deserve it. I'm just saying it's not ideal. But when you're looking at the options now, because Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett were my plan C and my plan D. Right. And I guess people are saying, well, Lamar's still out there. But I do believe with the Lamar situation, the moment we go out of our way to negotiate that deal, no matter what it is, the Ravens are going to match it. I don't think that's a realistic possibility. I think right now they're just kind of hoping nobody else freaking does it so they don't have to worry about it. And Lamar has to play on the freaking franchise tag. Or they're going to match whatever somebody puts out there because I'm hearing Lamar turn down $200 million fully guaranteed. Yep. If that's not the case, he agreed to that. He did admit that he turned down $133 million fully guaranteed over 3 years, which would have made him that was ridiculous, right? And I think he was bragging about it. That's the crazy part.
He was. Well, think about this, Gunny. If he's like, this is where I get confused. I had, I think at that time I had 300 people in my chat, and I asked all 300. I said, somebody please explain to me the mentality behind this tweet. Like he's using it to say, look at how good of a job I'm doing. I don't need an agent. That's what he's saying. Like, you're telling me I need an agent. I just got $44 million guaranteed for 3 years. Okay, well then why aren't you taking that? Like,
facts.
What is it? How can it be a positive and not good enough to, like, how does it fit? I don't understand, Gunny.
I'm with you. I'm with you, GreenBean. I have no idea what he's going for at this point, because the fact that they were even willing to offer that fully guaranteed deal, I thought would have made him the second highest paid quarterback, per year in the league. And he used that as kind of like him bragging about, like, I don't need, bro, why didn't you take it? That literally, that would have made you the second highest. It makes no sense.
And Gunny, that's another reason why, like, look, as talented, obviously talented as Lamar Jackson is.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially the most talented, right? Potentially the most talented quarterback in the NFL. That said, there's a lot to question. Now you got the injury things and everything, but what the fuck is, like, you're turning down $200 million. Okay, you think you're worth it, but then you use that for your positive. I don't need, like, it just questions his thinking, like decision making. I don't know. To me, it all rubs wrong to me. And maybe I'm off. Maybe somebody could sit me down and say, no, What it is X, Y, and Z. And I go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Until that happens, I don't get it. I don't understand it with this guy. I don't.
I have no idea, but but to me though, the Baltimore Ravens have been a well-run organization for as long as we can remember. These guys aren't dumb. It's one of the franchises that you look at and you're like, man, I wish my team had their shit together the way these guys do. And if they're not willing to commit to him for the full 5 years, 245, whatever the hell he's asking for, that's telling, because you're right. Talent-wise, Lamar Jackson has been special to watch. Minus the injuries, you don't get him for a full season. That's an issue. I'm wondering if there's something behind the scenes that really we just don't know about. Potentially, that last injury he had might be a little bit more of an issue than being let on. Like it's weird to me that it's gotten to this point to where the team that drafted him, when they can even offer the man 133 million fully guaranteed over 3 years, and he's laughing at it. Like, no, I don't want it. So to me, I there's something that we don't know about, but it does worry me that an organization that is as top notch as the Baltimore Ravens is not willing to invest in a quarterback that we have seen that as talented as Lamar. And we've all seen when he's off the field for the Ravens, their offense does nothing. Their offense is non-existent. So that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, but your point is so strong, Gunny. Like it really is. Like if there's a team to emulate, at least as far as how they run their organization, it's the Ravens, which is another reason why I was so excited to get at Joe Douglas. And why I can kind of see a lot of what he's doing now for the past couple of years as positive. I just see it in the same light as the Ravens. Yeah. They don't get walked on, bro. They don't. They rarely ever get caught with their pants down, and they almost never overpay to the degree like you see the Browns or the Jets. Or they just don't do that. So like you said, like they're obviously wanting to invest in him. I mean, shit, they offered him 4 years, $50 million guaranteed. So it's $200 million. That's an investment, but they have a line. And like, they're not, just like Joe Douglas said, he probably learned this from Ozzie Newsome, which is where their guy, I forget his name off the top
part of that tree.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He said like, we can be aggressive, but not reckless.
Yeah.
Aggressive, not – I guarantee Ozzie Newsome taught him that. Like, you can be as aggressive as you want, but once it becomes reckless, you're making a mistake. And so there they are. They're standing there at that line. Now, if you're an organization and they know him best and you're going to come in and say, I'll give it him all, then you're probably going to pay the consequence. That's my thought. Now, Want2K in the private chat is letting us know which quarterbacks are out there. Then I'm going to get to Cy Thompson's super chat right now. But listen to this group, everybody. So if we don't get Aaron Rodgers, if we don't get Aaron Rodgers, like Modine is saying, what if somebody steps in late? They see this happen. They go, dude, I'll give you whatever you want. Just what do you need? And they come in and they steal them. Let's say we don't get Aaron Rodgers. Here's what's left. You got Marcus Mariota, Gunny's favorite quarterback. You got Teddy Bridgewater, right? Don't forget about Teddy. You got Mason Rudolph. He's out there. You have Blaine Gabbert, Hoyer, Cooper Rush. This is what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Marcus Mariota is, in my opinion, the only legitimate option you would have in this group. Like, it's disgusting to say it. I know. When I was looking at it earlier, I almost threw up my mouth saying it. But
so seeing it through that lens, the Green Bay Packers, maybe it's wise for them to say, you know what, dude, we want an extra this, or we don't want to give you this, or we want Elijah Moore, whatever the hell it is. Maybe it does pay for them to do that, because then you look at the way that we're handling free agency right now. Again, this is very un-Jets-like, what's happening right now. We're losing guys. We lost Sheldon Rankins, which, I think most of us wanted to keep him, but not at 10.5. He got a great contract. Good for him, right?
Yeah, he got paid.
Same thing with Fadukasi last year. It's like, yeah, you want Fadukasi, but dude, he got paid. And like, you just can't do that for everybody. We have other guys that are priorities for us. It's fine. But then we lost right on the heels of that Nathan Shepard, which a lot of us are okay with, but together, Nathan Shepard and Sheldon Rankins, now it's a different story, right? Yeah. Then you hear that we're in on Fletcher Cox, but we lose him back. He stays with the Eagles. Then you hear that we're in on a center out there in California, with the Niners, and he stays there. So we lost 2 free agents that we were going in on, and we lost 2 of our defensive tackles. Then we lose Berrios, we cut him, but we lose Berrios to a division rival. We lose Mike White to a division rival. Mm-hmm. Today we lose Dan Feeney, the mullet, to a division rival. Then James Robinson goes over to the Patriots. So we have this like outdoor thing going on, and we've only brought in Lazard. And we made the trade for Chuck Clark, so that's positive. But it could be said that the Aaron Rodgers thing is holding up everything, because number one, money, we don't know. We got to figure out exactly what we're paying him. We got to make sure of that. But then maybe there are a bunch of players out there that are just like, you know what? I'm not convinced. I'm not going to go unless he comes. And that's kind of it kind of puts us in a bad situation where maybe Joe Douglas would want to bend. Now, getting to Cy Thompson's super chat here, Gunny, kind of goes along with this. He said, JD is all in on this. Let's see what our GM does here. He will be here. So I agree with that. Yeah. But do you think, like, look, I got to keep telling myself, in JD I trust, I trust, right? I got to keep doing that. But are you nervous at all that maybe JD's going to have to be the one for once that goes, all right, take the extra second? Or, all right, I'll give you a first next year or something. Do you think that we're going to see that?
So I'll preference this by saying that I've seen JD fleece so many individuals over the last 3 years. We've gotten an abundance of picks that, I mean, we had 3 first-round draft picks last year, guys. 3 first-round draft picks last year. Eventually, that does catch up when you're trying to sign these players, right? You can only do so much in regards to keeping talent. In my opinion, we've had 3 years worth of picks last year when we got Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, freaking Garrett Wilson, and Jermaine Johnson. And then now we're talking about the guys like freaking Max Mitchell, who shows he can ball out. We got Michael Clemens. Like, I feel like last year's draft is the equivalent of us potentially 3-4 more, first, second round drafts over the next couple of years. So if our guy Joe has to bend the knee and give an extra conditional third or an extra conditional second, as long as tied to it, we're talking about, hey, if Aaron Rodgers takes to the Super Bowl, it becomes a first, or if he takes it to the playoffs, it becomes a first. I am not going to bat an eye. Like if it costs us 2 conditional seconds that can become first based off of us finishing as AFC champions or into AFC, I am not going to bat an eye. Now I would like to keep this year's first. Like I do believe that if it's going to be a first, then it will just be this one. You get the 13th overall pick. That's it. Give us Aaron Rodgers. Call it a day, right? I don't think we're going to include any conditions after that. But I'm okay with a conditional second or a second this year, a conditional third next year that can become whatever, based off of performance. I still don't think it's going to happen. And the reason being is this. Somebody stated in the earlier that, hey, well, what if some other dark horse team comes out of nowhere and offers them a first?
Yeah, that was Moji. He's trolling anyway, but just
okay. No, but let's just say it happened, right?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers does not have a no trade clause. Correct. He doesn't have one, but he does. He can also retire, and that's going to trigger a lot of financial ramifications for the Green Bay Packers. And I think also for him going public yesterday as to what he wanted, being an all-time legend and great for the Green Bay Packers, I think optics are very important to the organization to where they cannot allow it to get to that point, because he's one of their all-time greats. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers is going to leave the Jets and potentially retire a Green Bay Packer once it's all said and done. His jersey will probably get retired. Like, they can't mess this up either, right? So, yes, we have no options. I don't believe Lamar's coming here.
Right.
And then we saw the options.
We got the Jets forever plan.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but I'm with
he's like, we're good. We got Zach. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like you don't want to get caught in a situation where, being afraid to give up just a little bit more is what holds you back. Like, if you got to do it, in my opinion, you play your game, but at some point you got to do it. Like, that's the way I see you gotta. And I think Green Bay knows that. And at least right now, I think Green Bay is going to want to get these picks for Jordan Love this year, though, too. So they're not going to wait forever. I don't see it that way. But I am nervous. Now, 2 things. Jennifer Slattery. Of course I know the Ravens aren't run by Ozzie Newsome anymore. You pain in the ass. I was mentioning him as the teacher, the wise sage, Jennifer. And I even said, I can't think of their GM's name now. I just can't think of his name. I want to say Howie Roseman, but that's the Eagles. I just can't think of him. What the fuck's his name? I can't remember. Maybe Y2K will tell me, but I know that, Jennifer. Thank you very much. But I wanted to remind you guys, thank you to Jeremy for reminding me that we're giving 2 things away tonight. Number one, it's our good friend in the chat from the UK, Phil Adams. It's his 63rd birthday today. So let's go ahead, get some fire emojis in the chat for our boy, Phil Adams. Let's let him know we love him. Happy birthday to Phil. And if you're a GreenBean stream beaner, go ahead and put up a bunch of the hot sauce emojis for Phil. All the hot sauce emojis for Phil. So in Phil's honor, what we're going to do, we're going to give 2 things away tonight. One is this right here. You guys see it hanging on my wall. It's right there. Okay. It's called the Jets Jack. There are only 5 of these in existence. Okay. I have one. Jeremy from Jets Chaos has one. Frankie from Flatbush has one. Phil, the creator of this, obviously has one. And then there's this one. Okay. I'm going to show you guys what it is. We're giving this away tonight. There we go. Let me move the mic.
Oh, that's nice.
See this thing?
I like that. That's
Dude,
clean.
it's amazing. It has every
That's
Jets
really clean.
logo through the years. See it?
Yeah.
And obviously it's the British flag with made into green Jets. And then Stoke on Trent is where he's from. The thing's amazing, dude. Great material. It's like
That's
it's a
nice.
flag, you know? But we're giving that away, the Jets Jack in Phil's honor tonight. And we're also giving away another bag of liquid IV. Where the hell is it? Hold on, Gunny. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No problem. Do you think?
Jesus. We're giving one of
I
these
saw
away.
somebody in the chat.
Tony Alexio won last week, but he can't figure out how to get me his damn address. Get me your address, Tony, and I'll send it right out to you. But somebody else is going to win. This is 16 packets, or this one's 14 packets of the hydration multiplier. This is the energy version. I have another one, lemon lime. And so somebody's going to win that tonight. How you get involved in the contest, every super chat over $5 is collected and written down by Jeremy in the background, our producer for the Thursday Thick of It. At the end of the show, we will collect all of the names and we will give them away in a random fun thing that we do at the end of the show. So if you want to get in on that, every $5 super chat and up gets counted in. And if you do more than one super chat, you get more entries. Okay. So there you go. Happy birthday to our buddy Phil. Phil's the real deal, Gunny. He's been with me since the very, very, very beginning. And it's my boy, Phil.
Happy birthday, Phil. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Right? Yeah, there you go. He sent me a soccer shirt of football from his team, Stoke-on-Trent. I wear that every now and then too. Thank you, Phil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Phil's a good dude. All right, so here you go. Tony checking in. Thank you, Tony. He says, I think the longer this drags out, the more pressure will build on the Packers. This year's draft picks go away starting April 27th. In the mean, we can draft other players we need. And that's a great point, Tony. I think that is probably the main motivator. Because think of this, Gunny. They're deciding this year to move away by choice, Hall of Fame, multiple MVP, Aaron Rodgers, to go with the young kid.
Yep.
You know damn well that the magnifying glass is going to be on them. If it's a mistake, Jordan Love crashes and burns, it's going to be a huge deal around the NFL and look really bad. They want him to succeed. So whatever capital they can get now to support him, they're going to want to do that. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. But they cannot afford to mess this up, because now, like you said before, going into this year, you better give your fans something to be excited about. Some picks to go ahead and pick up some individuals with potential, some exciting players. Because if Love isn't him, you're talking about an organization, a fan base that has had back-to-back first ballot Hall of Famers at the helm at the quarterback position. Not many teams get that lucky. Not many teams strike gold twice like that in a row. But they did it. The Packers did it. And I'm pretty sure the majority of Packers fans are expecting them to do it again with Love. But let's be honest here. That doesn't happen. Can he be freaking a first ballot Hall of Famer? We'll find out. But if Jordan Love is trash, you better have something that kind of like alleviates the pain of this season by getting some capital this season. Letting Aaron Rodgers walk away for nothing until next year, I think will be a huge mistake. And the fan base, I think, would potentially let them know. And they're a great fan base. Packers fan base is a great fan base, but they're also accustomed to winning. To me,
They are.
I've always, the true merit of an individual when they have to root for a team that is trash, which is why Jets fans are some of the truest and hardcorest there is, because we stand by our team and we've had to endure some bad football.
Oh, dude.
Packers fans have not. A lot of them are about to be tested if Love is not the guy.
Very well said, dude. I mean, they are a great fan base, right? Great.
Oh yeah,
They own their team. Like they actually own it. Like it's a shareholder thing. Great organization. Can't take anything away from the Packers.
No.
The history, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, the whole thing. And again, their fans are great. But Gunny brings up a great point, Tony. Jordan Love sucks. They're not used to losing. Think about it, man.
Nope.
They did Brett Favre. They drafted Aaron Rodgers, let him sit for 3 years, traded Favre away, moved over to Aaron. I mean, it's the same formula. They did it exactly the same way. And Aaron Rodgers said it in his interview on Pat McAfee. He said the wheels started moving in 2020 when they drafted Jordan Love. I mean, let's be real. I was Jordan Love. He was Jordan Love at one point. So I think you're right, Tony. I think that as it drags on, even though the Jets are stuck without a quarterback, and it would be brutal for this organization if we lose out on Aaron Rodgers. Like, let's say he gets tired of it and goes, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. I hate it. Something like that. It's going to be really, really bad for the New York Jets. But that said, same thing applies to the Packers, and they're going to want to do everything they can to give Jordan Love the ability to succeed and succeed now. He's not a rookie coming in with his rookie. He's going to be a fourth-year pro. You know what I mean? He's been grooming. So it's going to, or maybe 3 year. What is he back there for 2? I forget. I think it's his fourth year coming up.
I think so. Because they got to make a decision on his. Yeah, this will be his fourth year because he has to make a decision on. They have to make a decision on his 5th year option.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point too. They got to know. What if he just sucks? What if he goes out there and pulls a Zach Wilson, and they're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Second, Josh Rosen, where you just know right away, you're like, oh God, we're in trouble. Now our buddy Matthias Simon, great point. He says you lost Berrios when you cut him. Yeah, that's a great point. Right? We didn't lose him in free agency, but I gotta say, Matt, it still sucks that he went to Miami, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
There and, but still sucks. Let's see what he got here. Did you see him going? A lot of people thought he was going to go to the Patriots, but I think
I saw that. I thought that too.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I mean, but he's going to Miami. Miami took 3 Jets, 3. So they got Mike White, Berrios, and the mullet. And the mullet. Yeah. What do you think about this? Hey, do you think Mike White came in and had demands of second-string players he wants on the team?
Hey, I'm going to sign his contract. I'm going to need y'all to go get my boy Braxton Berrios, and Feeney is a G. We got to bring him on. Hey, maybe, he might have went over there and spoke those guys up and demanded that they be put on the acquisition list.
Maybe. So Leo Vernacchio checking in. He says maybe getting the trade to go through after the draft. Well, I mean, that's very real, Leo, but that's kind of what we're talking about right now. I think I really do think that the Packers are going to be motivated to get those picks now, whether it's a first. Look, I have told you guys from the beginning, just my take, and I hope I'm wrong, sincerely. I found it difficult to entertain the idea that we're not giving up a first-round pick. That's just, I don't know. I don't see it. Now, I see other people say it's crazy to give a first-round pick for a guy who's only going to be here for 2 years. I get that too. I do. But I'm just thinking the magnitude of player that he is, the franchise changer that he is, I just struggle with the idea. So I think it's going to be a first. I hope it's not. Believe me. But so if it is a first, let's say they get 13. I mean, and then they have pick 17, I think it is. So that means 13 and 17 to bolster Jordan Love and make sure that guy succeeds. That could be an offensive lineman. That could be a wide receiver. It could be, you know what I mean? It could be anything. They can get the number 1 tight end in the class if they want. So you have some room there to make some moves. And I think that they're going to be motivated to want to do it. That's what I think. I see that Wild Wave is in the chat saying he had a successful surgery. So Wild Wave, don't know what the surgery was, but I'm glad you're out of it, and I hope you have a speedy recovery, my friend. Thanks for letting us know. It's always good. Such a supportive chat, Gunny. Everybody gives lots of love in here. You know what I mean?
I like that.
So DaCosta, that's what it is. DaCosta, that's the GM of the Ravens. There he is. That's the name. Yep. Soon, you know, it's funny. As soon as you hear it, you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, now I know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, you're right. How did I not know that?
You're right. As soon as you say it. So there's Jennifer or Phil Adams again. Look at all the fire, man. You guys are the best. And guys, I want to just say we're going to have those giveaways at the end of the stream. For every $5 super chat and up, you will get 1 entry into both contests. So you get the bag. Just like I think this one it's like $24.99, something like that for this bag. So you get that, and then obviously the Jets Jack is priceless. It's right there. I love it. It's hanging proudly on my wall. So you can get both of those things. Radovan Merkovic checking in. What's up, Radovan? Good to see you, buddy. I saw you earlier today. So here we are again. So if they demand 2 first-round picks or more, then you're going to let it play out into the summer or into late August and hope things change. Okay, so that's an interesting question, Gunny. And we touched on that a few minutes ago. But let's say, hypothetically, try to put yourself in JD's shoes for a minute. Mm-hmm. The Packers are dug in. They say, we want 13 this year, and we want a first-round pick next year, and we're not budging. We'll just keep them. I'm telling you now, like the guy says, look, Joe, I hear you. I'm just telling you right now, I'm not taking anything less than 2 firsts. You want to drag it out into next year? So I don't care. I'll just keep them. I'll just keep them and start them. I don't care. Do you cave? Do you give it to him, or do you kind of call his bluff and wait it out? What do you think?
I think I call their bluff. I just don't see them allowing this draft to go by and not accepting some kind of return on knowing that an Aaron Rodgers would be a cancer now in their locker room as they're trying to evaluate Jordan Love. Like people are saying, he'll just go back to be a Packer. Really? Because when they asked him, like, hey, if you had came out there and the Packers said they wanted you to stay, he seemed awfully hesitant about the idea of playing for the Packers again.
Right.
So, like, are you sure? Like, this would literally be the nightmare situation for the Packers. I don't believe they have the guts or the balls to stand by that. I think we call their bluff. Now, if they want 2 first-round picks, and that's the price point, and as Radovan said, it's after this year's draft, okay, I'll talk to Aaron. I have this feeling. I don't know if it's just me, but I have a feeling Aaron Rodgers is going to play for 2 years. I don't know what it is. I just have this feeling that he wants to do a couple of years run with the Jets. And if you're telling me we get Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 years and we're giving up the 28th or the 32nd pick in the draft for the next 2 years to the Packers, sign me up. I'm all in. Sign me up. So if it's 2 firsts and they want it that bad, I call their bluff. If it's this year, I'm gonna call your bluff. And if it goes into the summertime, okay, cool. You can have these 2 firsts next year and the following year because they're going to be late first-round draft picks anyway.
That's right, because we're going to be going to the bowl, baby. We don't even give a shit. Look, Gunny's holding strong, everybody. Gunny's he's not bending, he's not caving, he's not cracking. I like that. I want to say I'm that. I do. I think I would call it for like up until near the draft, and I'd give him a call and go, hey, dude, are we really doing this? Come on. You're giving me an old man. I'm taking all your cap. You know, you lose all that beautiful cap, dead cap. You gain all that beautiful space. What about – I would probably try, but then at the end of the day, I think I would just say, all right, fuck it. Or I would figure something out, but I don't know. I might cave. I might in this particular situation. So I don't know, Radovan. I want to say Mark Riz, our good buddy Mark, who we hung out with last year at the opening day. It was his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday to Mark.
Oh, happy belated birthday, Mark.
Yeah, there he is. How old are you? We know Phil's 63. We know Jeremy's old. We know that. But how old is Mark Riz? How old? I want to say, too, don't forget, Jeremy from Jets Chaos is in the back. He essentially runs the back of the show. He's very, very important to the show, and I'm grateful, and we'll bring him on later to say hello. But we also have Watu-K. He's in the chat as New York Sports Wicker Media. Watu-K is the president of the Virginia Jets fan club, and also he has a channel that he runs, is New York Sports Wicker Media. All sorts of New York sports content, and he helps us with stats and all kinds of fun stuff. These guys are amazing, but most importantly, Watu-K does our trivia, Gunny. Watu-K comes on later. We end every show with Watu-K's trivia, and they're good. He puts actual time and effort into it, man. So we appreciate those two guys, and I'm glad you're here with us. So Chris KV checking in. He says, let's say this drags out. If the Jets get presented an opportunity to claim Rodgers on draft night for a trade back, a third this year and next year's first, would you guys do it? So, okay, let me think about this. We trade back, so we swap, right? So you're saying we swap.
Yep.
So we give them 13 and take 17. I'm all about that. I like it.
Yeah.
And then a third this year and then a first next year. That's a little rich. That's a little rich for me. Now, because there's really only one first, right? That's really only one. Well, you know what, Gunny? I might say the third. I say, look, I'll do that, but I'm not giving you the third. Maybe I do that. Chris, that's interesting. What do you think, Gunny?
Man, that's a good one, Chris. That's got me thinking hard. Like, okay, we're just swapping picks this year, so we would drop back about 4 picks. A third this year. All right, so damn. You know what? I have a feeling that pick next year is going to be a late first round pick. I think if that's what it boils down to get it done, you're in essence getting Aaron Rodgers for a third and a late first is what it would boil down to.
Yeah, you're right.
And if it's freaking draft night that we're dragging this out to, I think at that point, I think I would do that. I think I would do that. At that point, I'm like,
board, right, Gunny?
Yeah,
I think who's there.
Yeah, I think I would do that.
Jalen Carter's sliding, and you got 3 offensive tackles are still there. Brian Branches, you know what?
Yeah,
let's do it. I think I would do that because Gunny said it best.
Yeah.
Like, look, the swap is definitely still important, right? Like you're moving down 4 picks, but you still keep your first, right? So that is that. So you're essentially a third, and what we would hope is a late first next year, which is a second. Okay, that's what that is. If it's pick 31 or 32, it's a second round pick. So I think I do that, Chris KV. Good one, man. I think that
was good. That made me think.
Yeah, you did. Salty Nuts Magoo checking in. You see Salty Nuts. You know what he did for us, Gunny? I'm going to show you guys. This thing here. So look at this. You guys know we had a Baltimore Ravens dog living here. It still fucking lives here, by the way, but it's out back. But so I come in, this hat. I bought this hat, Gunny, the day after the Jets changed their uniform in 1998 with Bill Parcells. As soon as they changed it, I went out to the Willowbrook Mall up there in Wayne, New Jersey. I went to Lids, whatever it was. Yeah, man. And I bought this hat, and I've been wearing it ever since. It's the best hat I ever had. It doesn't fall apart. I put it in the wash machine. It's like, but I come home one night, and it looks like this.
What happened to it?
My fucking dog, this dog that we're letting somebody stay here, and their fucking dog.
No.
And it comes from Baltimore, and it was a few weeks before our game against Baltimore, and I got real pissed. So Salty Nuts Magoo finds the hat.
What?
He finds it for us and shipped it he actually shipped it to Jeremy, right, Jeremy? He shipped it to Jeremy. And Jeremy surprised me with it, I think. Or maybe I think Salty Nuts blew up his own gimmick. He told me beforehand. Yeah. But he sent it to Jeremy, and Jeremy brought it to opening day. So now we got that. I'm going to wear it.
I freaking love our fan base. I'm telling you. Like, we're second to none. Our fan base is just next level, man.
Amazeballs, Salty Nuts.
That's badass.
Yeah,
That's
so
badass.
thank you again for that one, man. Seriously. So he says, happy birthday, Phil Adams and Gitmo Bob. All right, happy birthday to Gitmo Bob. 2 staples in our Jets family. 1 year ago, we were worried about Gitmo Bob, and here he is. That's right. He was going in for that surgery, right? We were all sincerely worried, and, he contacted me, and I let everybody know that he made it through it and all that shit. That's right, Salty. Good bringing that up. Look, here we are a year or so later, and he's still, he's still good. He's in our chats. He's alive and kicking, just as surly as ever. Doesn't like any of our mocks, right? That's Gitmo Bob. But happy birthday to you. If you guys could go ahead, what do we do? Let's go ahead and give Gitmo Bob a bunch of fire emojis too. There you go. Let's light Gitmo Bob on fire. If you're in the stream beaners, go ahead and throw up those hot sauce. Happy birthday, hot sauce for Gitmo Bob. Happy birthday, buddy. Amazing, Salty Nuts. You're a good dude. You're a good dude. This is the best. Chris KV checking back in. Who is Wes Schweitzer? Who the hell's Wes Schweitzer? Do you know who that is?
I think he's a lineman for the Washington Commanders, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see.
Is that the same
Wes
guy?
Schweitzer. Yeah, that's exactly who he is. Okay. Why do you ask? Did he sign with the Jets? Free.
I didn't see anything.
Me neither. Oh, no, my fucking computer's locked. Shit. Wes Schweitzer. Let's see. I'm looking. Agent. It's funny. I put in Wes Schweitzer free, and it was Freemason. Maybe he is one. Who knows? Wes Schweitzer will return to the Commanders. It says here, expected to be.
Nope, it's official. Schweitzer is a New York Jet.
All right, Chris KV. There it is. All right,
Yeah.
we were behind the punch. Where's Watu2K? Did Watu2K tell me in the chat? No, he didn't.
Usually he's on this. He's usually on this.
Oh, there he is. He is saying it. Wait a
Nope.
minute.
Yep. Yeah, he did. 7:36 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, usually right guard and center.
Feeney is now replaced.
Wow.
All right, Watu2K's on it. Thank you,
Okay.
Watu2K. Right.
So
Sorry,
he said
buddy.
he's 29 years old, has played every offensive line position, but he's usually a right guard and center. Okay, so then, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Feeney's replacement.
What's his
versatile
PFF?
piece.
He's got a good rating there, Watu2K. What's his PFF? Watu2K's like, fuck you, I gave it to you. Look at him. Well, there you go, everybody. So the Jets bolstering the offensive line. Dwight Feeney is now replaced, or you could say Nate Herbig is replaced. Nate Herbig was the one out of all the free agents we lost so far. Herbig is the one that really disappoints me. I get it, and good for him. He wants to be a starter in the NFL. You can totally appreciate that. And he got himself a nice contract with a good organization, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I wanted to keep him. I really did. But the other one that rubs me a little bit is Sheldon Rankins. I did want to keep Sheldon Rankins, but another one, he got paid. So there you go. Thank you for bringing it up in that covert way, Chris KV. Kind of slid it in there, made us look. He did a major look there, Gunny.
He sure did.
Right.
I was like,
he did. Let's see. Mark Riz says Mike White had a backup wish list. We're an Islanders beer chugging group. Exactly. Right. They were all in it. Mr. Show checking in. What's up, the Jets Show? Good to see you, buddy. This would have been the perfect time for us to still have defensive tackle Jonathan Marshall. Jets Show, let me tell you something. Mr. Show is a good dude, everybody. He has his own channel as well. You can follow him, support him. He's one of us. He's in every chat. So we could do that. But listen, we were just talking about this. I forget where I was talking about. I talk to so many people these days. But we were talking about, I think that Joe Douglas is just waiting. The second Jonathan Marshall is exposed to waivers, which he just might be. They didn't use him too much last year. They had him on the 53, but when they poached him, but they didn't really use him all that much. He wasn't like a major facet or anything. So if they release him, Joe Douglas is going to snatch that boy up. We were developing him for 2 years. You know he wants him. You know he wants his guy back. He went and got Lamar Jackson, the cornerback, safety guy. We went and got him, but I think you're right, Jet Show. I think if Jonathan Marshall is out there at all, Joe Douglas is going to grab him because you're right. This would be the perfect time. Think about it. We lose Nathan Shepard, you lose Sheldon Rankins, and then your guys, your Tanzel Smarts, your Jonathan Marshalls, they just step right in. That's called pipeline development. That's right, Gunny. That's the best case. That's what we want to see. So look, Y2K's in here. But thank you, Mr. Show. Appreciate it, buddy. The Jet Show, everybody on YouTube. You could take a second and just go over there, give him a sub, and he would appreciate the support, I'm sure. So, yeah, look, there he is. He's trying. Y2K was trying, man. He was telling us all over the place. Look, I'm there too. Takes a second. The other day I was live when we re-signed Quincy Williams. And, I'm talking. It takes me a minute. You get behind in the chat, right? And it happened. And everybody's trying to tell me. And there's a million chats. And they're yelling at me. And I didn't get there. I was telling a story about the 90s, Ken O'Brien or some bullshit. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then I finally get to it. And it was like 100 comments. Like, this guy's the worst. I fucking hate GreenBean. That's what the comments were like. Because I wasn't talking about it. So I missed it. It's hard. Jeremy texted me. And that's kind of how it was weird. I saw it the exact second, but that's how Jeremy had to come in a back door and kind of tell me what the hell happened. So, all right, look at this. Nick, yeah, it happens, man. We get behind in here. That's why having Jeremy and Y2K for a busy show like this. This show's busy. There's a lot going on in this one. But he says has 2,201 snaps at left guard, 1,979 snaps at right guard, and 430 at center. Injuries the past 2 seasons, but he finished last season healthy, and his return to center has to have the team even more intrigued. There you go. He's definitely the Feeney replacement because he's got that versatility.
Got to be all over the line.
Dan Feeney. Definitely not Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney. He's, Feeney was our primary backup center, but he also played guard and everything, so he could bounce around. You want guys like that. You want guys like that around. So we didn't know too much about him, but how you feeling about Wes Schweitzer, man?
Yeah, I mean, I love the versatility. I can tell you that right now. That's a lot of snaps at some very, very intriguing positions that could allow him to just bounce around where need be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know the guy per se. I just knew the name. For some reason, just reminded me of the Commanders for some reason. But I love the versatility. That's definitely a Feeney replacement. So I'm not skipped the beat at least on that component.
All right, that's good. He's depth. He's definitely depth. Y2K threw a couple stats in there. His PFF is on the low side, everybody. It's 59.3, but he had 419 snaps, 3 penalties, and 3 sacks in those snaps. So not exactly great. But, hey, who knows?
Serviceable?
Yeah. Serviceable. That's what it looks like. Good word.
Yeah.
Good word. All right, let me catch up here. So we got Phenom. What's up, Phenom? Good to see you, buddy. He says, relax, don't do it. Everybody get to it. That's what he's saying there, Gunny. Relax and chill. Aaron Rodgers deal because both teams can't afford to go backwards. JD gets it done. Now, look, at the end of the day, we can tear this up and look back and forth. End of the day, you feel good, though. This is happening, right? Right, Gunny?
Yes, 100%. I'm at a 99.5% confident rating that this is going to happen before the draft.
Yeah, totally. That's what Connor Hughes came back and said. Like, he got confirmation. Like, maybe he didn't say it like that, but he said they had the basic construct of a deal done. Green Bay changed it.
They changed it. Yep.
Yeah. Now, let me say
they had the handshake agreement done apparently when they agreed to go to talk to him. And then they just changed things up when they. I don't know why they changed it up. They changed it up apparently as of Friday or something like that.
Interesting. Now wait, Jeremy, I saw a Green Dog's member chat. Am I to that yet? Do you see the Green Dog member chat? Hold on. I'm gonna put it up there in a second. Whoops, shit. Hold on, Green Dog. I see. Damn it. I see you, buddy. Where did it go? Come on. Sorry, here it is. All right. Hold on. I gotta capture it here. What the fuck is going on here? All right. So Green Dog got his 2-month StreamBean membership anniversary today. So we're going to celebrate that in just a second. Again, if you want to access the cool emojis that we have in there, I need 5 more people to add more emojis, and it helps the channel. It helps us grow. It helps us stay up here, and it's greatly appreciated. But it's fun too. You get free super chats and you get emojis. As we grow, we can add more. YouTube, man, I don't know, but I got it in there. I'll put yours in there in a second, Green Dog. But the thing is, Phenom, I think you're right. Like Gunny said, I do have confidence that it's going to get done. My natural cynical nature, I'm a skeptic as my default. I'm cynical as my default. So I got to work on it. But once I just remind myself, in Joe Douglas, I trust. I trust him. He's done amazing things, man. I mean, just look at this. Guys want to nitpick about Joe Douglas being good or bad. No, okay. You want to talk about the record? You got a point. You want to talk about this? You got a point. But here's the truth of it. 3 years ago, we were an absolute laughingstock. We were a clown show organization. This year, we just had, a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback that anybody would have wanted. Make no mistake. If he said, I want to play for the Colts, they'd jump. If he said the Red, he'd jump. Just believe me. He's a stud. He said on in front of 500,000 people and more now, I want to play for the New York Jets. So that says it. Dude, look at the difference between then and now. All right. It's a stark difference. There's no comparison. That's Joe Douglas. So I trust him, and we're going to roll with Joe. He's going to get it done. Relax, like Phenom said. So, hey, Gunny, I got a surprise for you, buddy.
All right.
I got a surprise. Guess who? Wait a minute. Look at this. Holy shit. Hold on. I'm sorry. But guess who's here?
Buffalo Jet fan.
Our guest for the evening. Close. Close. Well, let's say hello.
Is that my boy Paul?
Yeah, that's right. To our good buddy.
Yeah.
Paul Boy Green Esden is in the house. There he is. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Oh, man. It's about time I'm back on this show, baby. What the hell took so long, GreenBean? For Pete's sake.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
As well.
There was a minute there where we were we were together a lot. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of stopped. I think, you know what it is? It's just one of those things. I think it just like happened. We were like always together. We move over here, and then we don't realize it's been like 8 months or something like that. I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, I'll say it's been a long time. It's weird. I called her secretary. She said, don't worry. Don't call us. We'll call you. There we are. So unfortunate. But nonetheless, it's amazing to be here, guys. This is spectacular.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, Paul, thank you, man, for coming. It is good to see you. I check in on your live streams. You do the same. So we're still in each other's ether, if you will. But I don't know if you know my co-host, my new co-host, Gunny. Do you know him? He's from New York Jets Situation Report.
Yeah, I know of him. Again, this is another situation where I guess his people did not get back to my people. We were supposed to meet week 1. I heard he was doing this whole thing. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I've never met GreenBean in person. So Gunby, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be phenomenal. And he's like, oh, just meet me in front of the stadium. And then I was just like, and nothing.
I have video proof of me being in front of the stadium by my damn self.
Oh, that's true. He just like the video transition.
Proof.
I know with the beer. That's true.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we didn't connect either.
Time on my hands.
But it's okay because, guys, I have a brand new podcast. And the good thing about it, shameless plug, but the good thing about it is I want to correct what GreenBean said at the beginning of this, that we're all in each other's ethos, right? Because we're all doing our own thing. But this podcast is dedicated to connecting other Jets content creators together on a week-to-week basis. So I've got a list, an elite list. We'll see where you guys rank on the elite list, apparently, depending on how this hour goes, I suppose.
That's right.
I haven't gotten my call yet, so I'm assuming I'm on the bottom of that list.
But the call will be coming here in the near future, which I'm excited about. So that'll be a cool project to get us all connected together. So I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, so that sounds awesome. So you're saying like, so that podcast is literally has a tilt toward kind of connecting with the other Jets content guys?
Absolutely. So we it's a new thing, and I don't want to like take over and everything, but It will be. It's a new thing. It's in my bio. It's I partnered with a new group of people that are going to be kind of what Jets Chaos is to you. I know sometimes doing some stuff behind the scenes. They're doing stuff behind the scenes, and my sole purpose of this, there'll be one episode each week during the offseason. We did our first episode last week in the middle of Aaron Rodgers watch, and we had a Jet Central on. And every week, I want to get a different Jets content creator on, promote their own channels, of course, and talk Jets. And like I said, this will be. I feel like awesome. We sometimes get lost in our own universe, so to speak, that we don't carve out time. So now this episode forces me to carve out time every week, so I should be able to catch up with everybody. So it's long overdue, quite frankly. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I know the fans have already given a great response on who they want to see on and stuff. So I'm ready for it.
I love it, man. That sounds incredible, awesome. Truly, and I'm excited to one day, hopefully. Be a guest on there, but that sounds great. That's right. Yeah. And you guys know Boy Green. Boy Green is he's one of the originals, man. I mean, years and years ago, the Jet Zone is the original Jet podcast.
That's right.
So and he look, you've been kind of staying ahead. You're on the forefront of breaking all the shit that's happening these past couple weeks.
Yes,
you're finding it. You're grabbing it first. You're putting out there first. How you doing all that?
That's a great question. It started actually way back when it was, and we talked about this in the Jets Twitter documentary that just dropped a wink an hour ago, which, by the way, great timing, GreenBean, because you asked me, you said, hey, what hour do you want? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just say 9 to give us a little wiggle room. I had no idea that they were dropping the thing at 8 o'clock today. So thank God I was able to watch that puppy safely with the family and then say, okay, I got this big date with the sexy GreenBean. So, and I got to make sure and Gumby and everybody. So it ended up working out great. But I was talking about it in there. It didn't make the final cut. I saw in the video, but the Brady Quinn thing, like Brady Quinn said his crazy crap on some random podcast no one's ever heard of. And I had a little bird tell me, hey, Brady Quinn said some stupid shit on a podcast. And he said, you should probably go look it up and see if you want to clip it. And I looked at it and went, this guy's got to get the business. And then it blew up. It's got over like 1 million or a couple million since. And of course, we all trashed Brady Quinn. So since that point, I went, I see what I have to start doing. And that's what I've been doing. I've been camping out for Aaron Rodgers watch. We all have to do our own part. We have our own role in all of this. And every morning we get up at like the ass crack of dawn to be right up there for the get up shows and everything else. Because I knew the NFL insiders were on all these shows. I'm like, I'm going to clip this, send this out, and let's update the great people on what the hell is going on. And so, yeah, it's been a fun new thing that I just kind of adopted. The Jets universe told me I had to do it. I'm like, okay, you guys are the boss. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, well, truth is you're nailing it, man. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate
it. We've all been live, one capacity or another. Ryan's live. I'm over there. O'Leary's over here. Like, we're doing all this stuff. All of us are doing, and constantly it was like, well, Boy Green says this. Paul Esden said this. We were doing that the whole time. So, man, seriously, man, you're doing a great job. And you mentioned something really cool. Guys, I don't know if you know. If you're not on Twitter, which a lot of people aren't, you might not even know this is in existence. The New York Jets, the great One Jets Drive film crew, the ones who bring us, Flight 2022 and then One Jets Drive.
One Jets Drive.
They did a little thing where they focused on some of the more, I would say, recognizable, prominent members of Jets Twitter. Jets Twitter is legendary just in and of itself, but they handpicked a few people to be the focal point of the documentary on Jets Twitter. Our good buddy Paul Boy Green Esden was one of those people. Now, when they contacted you, bro, how did that feel?
I'm like, where's Ashton Kutcher? Am I getting punked? Like, what's happening? Because again, when they reached out. So like, I haven't told anyone about any of this anywhere. So you guys get the exclusive scoop here.
Scoop.
So here it is. So the Jets send an email in the February range, and it's like official Jets. Like, you can't miss it. It's like discount double check, pun intended. It's like what? Huh? And then I read it through. You've been selected for this. I understand if you can't make it. I'm like, the hell? I already booked my hotel, baby. Let's go. And that they wanted to do this. I didn't really know what it entailed, really. It was kind of, an inquiry of like, hey, we kind of want to do this thing. We want to bring in and chat with you and I'm like, to the team facilities? One Jets Drive? Me? Okay, let's go. So I lost my crap. And I felt like there's like a pinch me. Like, there's no way. The Jets, New York Jets, Paul Esden. Jets, Boy Green. us together doing a thing. And then once you're there, I mean, like I said, it was just absolutely bananas. It was just a little crazy. Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, I was so delighted to see, and not only you, if I may. I mean, Richie from Jets Media was on there.
Yep.
We had NYJ Matt and MYJ Mike. We've had Mike on the show a couple times. The girl, and I might get her name, Christine Levitas.
Yeah, Krista Levitas. That's correct. Levitas. Yep, she was on there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So she's the girl who last year on Twitter for 79 days, whatever it was, every day tweeted to the Jets to re-sign Braxton Berrios. Then when they did, Berrios reached out to her, and it was just such a cool moment and all that. So she was on there as well. But what an amazing thing. You said, so it dropped today. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it dropped an hour and 9 minutes ago. I know some people watch this live, some people after the fact. Same thing with my live streams. But at 8 o'clock on the 16th, which today is Thursday, that's it. So Thursday, they dropped it. It's about 23 minutes, so it's super consumable. I had no idea how long it was going to be. They did all the editing behind the scenes. But yeah, it's like 23 minutes. It's kind of a cool snapshot. It's got like history in it. We talked about like the Monday Night Miracle, which was kind of cool, and Super Bowl III. They went all over the place. This was such a wild interview process. They, like, in that big email I told you guys about, they sent us about 35 questions. Hey, just to kind of get on your mind, these are the kinds of things we're asking. And then they brought, so like your mind's racing, like, oh man, I got to provide a pretty good answer for A, B, C, D. And it was all over the place. So Krista Levitas, NYJ Matt, Mike, all those guys. But yeah, they sent us like a billion questions, said, here we go. We're going to ask you a bunch. And they did. It was so cool. We were in the media place. Like I passed each, for people who don't know, that's never been in the Jets building, each media person that covers the team on a day-to-day basis has their own like office. So I walk by Rich Cimini's office, Connor Hughes, Brian Costello, all these guys, and that's where they film the room. So when you guys watch it, if you guys watch it at any point, you'll see us all sitting down for the most part in these like little cubicles. That's like Rich Cimini's office or Zach Rosenblatt's or whoever. We don't know who, or I would know who, because they ripped whoever's the name was off the door, so it didn't make it on the camera. So I have no idea whose office I was. The beat reporter will know whenever they watch it if they do. But yeah, they sat us down in there and then did the big interview. Yeah. What the hell? That's my background. That's my thing. Because so it was that was crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine though, man. That had to be so cool. I mean, if I'm being real honest, while I was delighted and happy and all that, one little drip of envy, good envy. But I was like, I would have loved to do that. I'm going to
be honest. Yeah, it's one of the questions they asked is, who is Jets Twitter? And I feel like it's a confusing answer, and that's why I feel bad for a lot of the people that didn't make the cut, like you, GreenBean, or Gumby, or anybody, is that I feel like there's, to your point, like Twitter's I don't want to say niche, like no one's on it, because obviously a lot of people are on it, but like, what's the line between Jets YouTube and Jets Twitter? So when they asked us the question of who's Jets Twitter, I'm like, oh man, you got to think of all the content creators. There's like GreenBean, Gumby, of course, obviously with the first two names that came out of my mouth, very high on that list in particular.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, so we start going through the names, and you're going through, and then I see ultimately who they pick, because they kind of herded us like sheep. Because we came in there, did like a 45-minute interview. Then they brought us to multiple different places in the Jets facilities for photo shoots and stuff. And then once it was over, they brought us back to the double glass doors. And then we left, jumped in a car, and the next people were already in doing the interviewing thing. So I didn't know until just now, and maybe the trailer, who they ended up ultimately selecting for all the things. But I think that's a fine line that kind of got blurred, and I'm going to actually talk to the guy that's the director of One Jets Drive. I'm going to ask him those questions about the selection process. But, there's a lot of people that weren't represented, obviously, and so that was a little disappointing, no doubt.
Yeah. Right. I mean, like, that's a great point, but it's like at some point, I mean, you can only have so many, right? I think that the group they did get is great, though. Like, it's a solid group, man. Very cool. So, that's going to be on, the New York Jets YouTube page. I'm sure it's on their website as well. But the New York Jets on YouTube, man, when we're all done, make sure you guys check that out. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done. It's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm excited about it. I can't wait.
Great.
So, Boy Green, we got a lot of super chats, some questions and shit. But obviously, I'm very curious to hear your take on a few things. Free agency, where we are. We just signed, I don't know if you heard, we just signed an offensive lineman, Wes Schweitzer.
Yes.
Did you hear? Okay. So
I thought that was a joke at first. I didn't know who that was. I claimed to be this big NFL and Jets guy, and then they did it, and I was like, "Is it going to be like you click it and it's Rick rolled?" I'm like, "Oh no, this is a human being. This is a person." Okay, yes,
yeah. So hey, man, I think the purpose of that one was to replace Dan Feeney. So that's good. It's unspectacular, but you need that stuff too, I suppose. But Mr. Downtown here. And this is, one of the things I was going to ask you anyway. He says it's safe to say that OTAs is the deadline. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, yeah.
From your vantage point, your angle, what do you think the deadline is from either the Packers or the Jets to, for lack of a better word, cave and get this done?
I'm going to be honest. I think, and this has been a point of discussion, I'm sure you guys have batted it around. I've been batting it around since we found out yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. Those words, GreenBean, when I'm sitting in the green room, the wonderful GreenBean luxury suite where the drinks and snacks were before you brought me on here. Very nice, by the way. I appreciate the hospitality.
A lot of effort into that.
There was, and I can appreciate it. Again, I'm glad you left the green M&Ms in, took the blue M&Ms out. I really appreciate that. That was part of my contract, of course, to take part in this interview. I have to say that, like, hearing the words where Aaron Rodgers said, "I want to play football in 2023, and not only do I want to play football, I intend to play for the New York Jets." My reaction's out there, but I just my brain was sputtering, beep, boop, bop, bop, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. What the hell? This is fantastic. And I lost my crap about it. And taking a step back, so everyone says, so who has the leverage? Aaron Rodgers just said to 500,000 people live on the Pat McAfee show, "I'm going to the Jets, baby. And Packers, you could suck it. And it's your fault that this trade hasn't happened already." I was like, what the hell? Leverage in the Jets corner. Packers people were telling me, hell no. Leverage is in our corner because now we know how bad the Jets want him and Aaron Rodgers wants to go there. To me, I don't think there's a real deadline, to be honest. I get from Mr. Downtown, which, by the way, thanks for the super chat to support the handsome and fellow bearded friend. Both of us, and Gumby and GreenBean for that matter. Gumby, you need to, put of that chia. You need to get that a little bit more length on that.
I'm trying.
That size is everything, but nonetheless, let's give it some TLC from me to you. Anyway,
I got
back
you.
to the point
I got
here,
you.
is that I get the OTAs, the deadline potentially for Mr. Downtown, because of course we want Aaron Rodgers to be a part of that process. Of course, he was asked about that on the Pat McAfee show. Hey, does this mean you're going to be there? He says, I don't want to comment on that or the name it jersey or all these other things because today was about clarifying things, so he didn't say it. So I get that would be great. To me, I think it folds beyond that. So I don't think there's a deadline. I just think the Packers are going to fold beyond that. I think the next week or two, it's over. I think the Packers are going to be like, this is one of the greatest players in our franchise history. Aaron Rodgers would say the greatest player in their franchise history. And I think cooler heads prevail. The Jets are here. Jets want him. Aaron Rodgers wants to go. Packers don't want him anymore. I think ultimately he's traded within the next week and a half.
I'd like that. Next week. I mean, look, Jets fans, can we wait a week? In the Jets Twitter, YouTube verse, every hour is like a week. So can we make it a full week without killing each other? I mean, it gets violent in some of these threads, man. We're a tough group. But I'd say a week. Look, I'd love it to be done in 5 minutes from now. That'd be great.
Of course.
But a week, I think I could do a week. Nice. Give us enough time before the draft. I'm just worried about the free agents there, Paul. That's the only thing. Dom C, our good buddy Dom C, checking in. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Bean and Gunny, this was put in before you even got here, I think. Just to change the tune from the Aaron Rodgers drama, tell all of us what your ideal draft in rounds 1, 2, and 3 would look like if we have all our picks. You know what, Paul? He didn't put your name on there. But
he didn't. I'm offended, but that's okay.
I'm curious. Assuming we had all our picks, and Gunny, I'll throw it to you as well. Do you have an ideal draft? Maybe it's just positions or players, but what are you thinking?
Okay, who's first?
You, Paul. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Dom C again, despite the fact that you did not include me in your super chat, I will give you my 5 cents. And first round, I want Peter Skoronski. He's a guy that I think is going to slip a little in the draft because people are going to overrate the short arm thing, saying, I think he can only play inside. I think he's versatile enough to play wherever the hell you want him. And he's been compared to AVT. Yeah, give me another AVT on the team. Sign me the hell up. So I will take him at 13. Let's go to the second round. Again, keeping all our picks. 43rd overall. Now, this is a guy some people may say may not make it, but because of the questionable combine, I think he does. Brian Branch. He's a guy that some people floated at 13, but because of the crappy combine, and quite frankly, the crappy combine from the lot of safeties that performed in Indy and the big-time guys that have been and were available in free agency, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Jesse Bates, and some of these big names, I feel like ultimately he's going to start slipping down the board. So whether it's 43 or they even have to trade up just a hair, I think he'd be a versatile piece that'd be interesting. I feel a lot more comfortable about that in the second round than the first round. And this is one, I will be honest, it's biased. And it's one of two guys here, and they're both Syracuse guys, obviously. So Matthew Bergeron, versatile offensive lineman, more offensive line help. I'm always about. Some people think he could play tackle. Some people think he could slide inside. And then Sean Tucker. I think running back's a bigger need than people are saying, and this is third round value, by the way. So 74 overall potential. I know the centers are sexy too, so a Luke Whippler or something like that. But I'm telling you, Sean Tucker, baby. He is a guy that was a record breaker at Syracuse at the running back position, maybe a name that a lot of people haven't discussed. And we're talking about he's been breaking records. Ernie Davis, Floyd Little, Jim Brown. You may have heard of some of these names. Like, he's been making some things happen. I'd like another guy in the backfield, especially with Breece Hall. Conflicting reports on how healthy, how quickly he's going to get to 100%. I've heard things from inside the building, heard things from outside the building. So some conflicting reports there. I just want to make sure that they're cautious with him. Get the running back position right, and again, let him go when he's ready to go.
I think that's a nice, it's an interesting take. Running back, I didn't see that coming, but hey, your logic makes sense. Look, there's some concern about Breece Hall. I think ultimately he'll be fine, but we don't know at what point. And we let James Robinson walk, and who knows what's going to happen with Ty Johnson. And you got Bam Bam Bigelow and Michael Carter II. Other than that, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of all of a sudden looks thin, all of a sudden. So, Gunny, where are you going with this? If you have all three picks, what would be ideal in your mind here?
Well, I've been very adamant and loud about liking Paris Johnson. I'm a big fan of him. I think at number 13, if he's still there, I don't think he will be, but if he's still there, he's the guy. But option B for me would be Skoransky. I think Skoransky's a real nice fit. And then I'm starting to freaking love the Georgia kid.
Rodgers Jones. Yeah, he's growing on me too, right? So in terms of that 13th overall pick, if we can come away with any one of those guys, I would be elated. I think that would be an incredible pieces to add to the offensive line, which I still believe is a position right now that I'm kind of worried about. I know a lot of our guys were hurt last year. Health was a big concern, a big issue, but I really want to see us kind of reinforce that because I think Aaron Rodgers behind a good offensive line could tear up anybody in the NFL. And with the weapons we have that can go ahead and create separation and get the ball, give that man some time, we can do some damage, dissecting some defenses. So for me, offensive tackle is high. Like, it's the priority with that first pick. Now, I don't know if we're going to trade back into the first round. So the Minnesota center, I do believe, might be gone. But there's a center in Ohio, Luke Whippler, baby.
Whippler. Luke Whippler, I think, is a second-round target. I've seen him fall a couple of times to me in the second round, some of my mock drafts. So I'm going for a center component in the second round. Maybe I'm crazy. People are telling me, like, well, defensive tackle is an issue. But defensive tackle for me is where that third-round pick would come into play. Now, seeing how some things are kind of like, edging out, like with Jalen Carter issue coming up, I know it's going to throw a bunch of loops in terms of like the depth of the defensive tackles. But in the third round, I believe a run stuffing defensive tackle is a must. So for me, it's offensive tackle, it's center, and then it's defensive tackle. I really want to see that line fortified. It's a big component to our offense and our defense. And I think if we can go ahead and get that done and support it in this draft, we might not lose a beat when it comes to the defense, and we'll definitely be taking a step forward when it comes to the offense.
Interesting. I got to say, this makes sense to me. I'm going to tell you what's really going to happen, though. You guys ready? This is just
here we go.
You ready for it?
So, interestingly enough, it was unforeseen just a few weeks ago, but Jalen Carter is going to slide to 13. We're going to grab him. We're going to jump ahead of our offensive tackle needs because we like some of the other guys. We're taking arguably the best player in the entire draft. We're putting him next to Quinnen Williams. End of story for all offenses in the NFL. Then in the second round, we're going to grab one of Darnell Wright, DeJuan Jones, Anton Harrison, any of those guys that slide there for the offensive tackle. We're going to grab one. I like all of them. So do the Jets. And then in the third, if he's there, I'm going center. I'm going Luke Whippler. He's a diehard Jets fan. He's from Ohio State. So we reunite Garrett Wilson, Jeremy Ruckert, and Luke Whippler, and they get to be Jets fans together, Ruckert and Whippler or Whippler again. And I think that's beautiful. So that's what I'm doing, Dom C. Jalen Carter's there. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm jumping up and grabbing him. And look, we lost some defensive tackles today, and we lost out on Fletcher Cox too. So now I want to do one thing. Again, I said it before, but we have a 2-month anniversary for Green Dog of being a stream beaner. Now we're going to go ahead and grab that one. It's up there on the, let me see where the hell it went. It went on the thing. Now, again, if you like to support the channel, you could do what Green Dog did. That's tough to say. Green Dog did, and you can click on that. It doesn't come up right on here, Boy Green. It doesn't do my emojis when I do it up. But anyway, congratulations on your two-month anniversary. We appreciate it. It comes with a member super chat and obviously the emojis, which are fun. Doesn't come up when I grab it, but they're in the chat. You guys can see them. Now he says this, fired up about getting Rodgers. Thanks for all you guys do. Green Dog, thank you, bro. You've been around for the whole time. You've been with me for years. I've seen you in other people's chats too. You're one of us, buddy. And I greatly appreciate what it is that you do, man. The support, talent, right, Paul? You don't the support that you guys give is unbelievable, man. I can't tell you how grateful I am for this whole everybody in the chat and on Twitch. It's amazing, isn't it?
Unwavering support. So the fact that these I'm seeing Hennessy Heisman and so many others are that support multiple different Jets content creator channels. Again, what they do makes everything we do possible. So without Jet fans, what would we be without that lifeblood that runs through everything? So shout out to all those people that support you guys.
That's right. And we have 2 birthdays. Well, 3 really. Tonight is Phil Adams' 63rd birthday. We're saying happy birthday to Phil. Tomorrow is Gitmo Bob's. And yesterday was Mark Riz. Again, guys, we're giving away something of Phil Adams, the birthday boy's creation tonight. We're giving away the Jet Jack. I don't know if you saw this yet, Paul.
Oh.
There's only 5 of Isn't this amazing? There's 5 of these in existence. We're giving the 5th one away tonight. All you got to do to be entered, every super chat of $5 or more is entered into the contest. And we're also giving away a full bag of Liquid IV from our sponsor, Liquid IV. There you go. All right. So there you go.
Are you autographing that, by the way, GreenBean?
I can. Yeah. I mean, technically speaking, I don't know if they
excellent.
Because then look, if you do value it, then you got to keep a bag around for, I don't know who the hell wants that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
F16 checking in. Thank you for the super chat. He says, theoretically, it's a good question, by the way. Theoretically, can't Rodgers just retire and then his current contract is voided and then we just sign him to a brand new contract? Now, Paul, if you can answer this, I'll throw it to you. Why don't we just let Aaron Rodgers retire and then scoop him up from the garbage?
Again, for all the grab your aluminum foil and wrap it around our heads conspiracy theories here and collusion, technically, which could be here's again, because that's what some people have argued that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets have spoken. And Aaron Rodgers obviously would be behooved to allow the Jets to acquire him for as little as possible so they can use all those assets to then surround around them. No, they can't retire. And maybe part of what F16 is hinting at is what happened with Brett Favre is that he retired. So the Jets put him on the reserve retired list and just kind of gave up his rights, so to speak. And then the Vikings scooped him up. But no, a couple of things here. First off, his contract doesn't just kind of void. There's all kinds of ramifications for the Green Bay Packers if he retires. So again, he's counting like $32 million or something against their cap. The actual cap, it would be $15 million. if he was traded, it jumps up to 40 million. So there's all kinds of, again, to not get into the weeds here on contract lingo talk, but there's all kinds of ramifications if he stays, if he's traded, if he retires, and it jumps all over the place. And also the NFL wouldn't allow it. I'm sure there would be some time frame of, if Aaron Rodgers retires, a time frame of which his contract runs out in terms of you owning his rights before he would be free again. So long story short, no, he can't. But again, what he can do, however, is he could get nasty if he wants to. He can drag his feet if the Packers say, well, we're not trading him to the Jets for a bag of Doritos, so you're staying. And he's like, okay, guess what? I'm reporting. Oh, you want to hand the keys to the franchise to Jordan Love? Tough for you. And he could just start bashing them on the Pat McAfee show. He could start destroying things from inside the organization. And I think so if he wants to get nasty, he can. And I would imagine he'd be willing to get nasty if the Packers all of a sudden don't acquiesce to one of their greatest players in franchise history. They should do right by this man. And again, I'm not saying trade him to the Jets for a 7th round pick. I know this is a Jet show. Okay, I'm not saying that. But let's meet somewhere in the middle. They're apparently asking for a cajillion first-round picks. The Jets are like, you're not getting one first-round pick. So you just got to find somewhere in the middle. I think that's the key for all of this. So he can make it nasty if he wants, which could get freaky. But this particular scenario is not possible.
Yeah, and we've actually seen a few examples of that recently. Like, for example, when Gronkowski retired from the Patriots, the Bucks, when they got Brady, they wanted Gronkowski, and the Bucks had to give the Patriots a 4th round pick because technically speaking, he's still under contract. So, yeah, there's all that stuff. It's not that easy. If they could control it that way, you know how many retirements we'd see, Paul? It'd be everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Right, Gunny? So that's the whole thing. I mean, it's a good thought, and it's a good question because I think you're not alone. I'm sure plenty of people have thought the exact same thing. This is about before when I bought my hat, I said it was in Wayne, New Jersey. So Leo's from Wayne. I used to party in Wayne, Leo. You don't know, man. I used to hang out in Lincoln Park. So Wayne was one of my stomping grounds, buddy. We used to be there all the time. I want to say hello to my Aunt Gina. She's in the house. So, Paul, she's the reason I'm a Jets fan. That's the lady right there that did it.
Gina, you're the real one. You're the real MVP. Boom, Gina. Love it.
Great job, Gina. Great job.
Right? You look at it right, man. Look, now we're all friends because of Aunt Gina. Gina, thank you. I got to meet so many great people because of you, Aunt Gina. Now you've made my life a living hell, and I've been miserable for fucking 40 years. But that aside, thank you, Gene. How about them Jets checking in? He says, JD motto is not to be reckless. I hope we don't drag this out too long. We have the better deal by getting Rodgers. Let's not try to lowball Green Bay, I think. Yeah. So, well, what do you think of that? Gunny, I'll throw it to you real fast. The motto that Joe Douglas uses is aggressive but not reckless, right? So there's at somewhere they decide there's a line. We saw it with Tyreek Hill. You know, we saw it a few places, right? Where do you think the line is, Gunny? And Paul, I'll ask you too, but where do you think the line between aggressive and reckless is as far as compensation for Aaron Rodgers?
I think in terms of recklessness, if it's going to cost us 2 first-round picks, we're in that reckless territory. And I say that purely because Aaron Rodgers could definitively decide next year he's going to retire. I don't think he's going to do that. Something tells me he's going to play at least 2 years in gangrene, but he could, right? Like we could be going through the same ordeal right now. He's going through another darkness retreat. We'll all be holding our breath, hoping he comes back. This could be a thing next season. So I think for me, the there's no way. The reckless to me would be freaking 2 first-round picks. Now, I think the line should be 2 seconds, but that second should be a conditional. I think we give him a second this year, and next year you get a 4th that can become a second. You know what I'm saying? If we hit certain parameters, whether it's we make the playoffs, the AFC Championship game, whatever, it can become as high as a second round draft pick. That to me, I believe, is probably what we're going to wind up hearing. Second this year, conditional 4th that becomes up to a second next year. But I think the first round picks, if it happened, would I cry about it? No, we get Aaron Rodgers in the freaking building. Let's be real here. If you look at the list of quarterbacks we've had to deal with and endure over the last decade, I think we'll all be fine. We'll get over it. But I do believe that is teetering into that reckless realm if we wind up giving up more than 1 first-round draft pick for Aaron Rodgers.
Now, Boy Green, you think that's the same place for you? Do you see it maybe even before 1 first? Where do you think reckless begins from your standpoint?
First off, I'd just like to say, let's point to the trade that Joe Douglas has lost. Oh, wait,
right.
I can't because he's the king, baby. He's the king of such matters. Here's the thing. I said a bunch of months ago, so I've wanted Aaron Rodgers since I think it was November, and I've been trying to scream it as loud as I can since then. And back then I said, whatever it takes, 2 first-round picks, my kidney, my second child, whatever it's going to take, I'm willing to sacrifice to the gods. However, as we've gone through time, I think there's a difference between what you would pay and what you have to pay. And that's the leverage situation of all this. So while at one point this offseason, you could find the footage, it exists out there where I said 2 first-round picks, no problem, take him. For a lot of the reasons Gumby said, we're getting Aaron freaking Rodgers here. I think the fact of the matter is, I don't think Aaron Rodgers, we will see, obviously, when he's ultimately traded and does a press conference, he will inevitably be asked this. I don't believe there's any circumstance where Aaron Rodgers says, I'm going to play 2 years. I think he's going to go, I want to continue to do year by year. I just want to live my life. Let's play the year and see what happens. I don't think he wants to box himself in and says 100%, I'm playing 3 years. I'm playing 2 years. I don't think that's his MO. And if it isn't, there's no way the Packers can ask for 1 first-round pick, let alone multiple, for a guy that can only be here for 1 year. So for that reason, I think ultimately the package is going to be similar to what Gumby said, is that it'll be a second this year, which is 43rd overall, and a conditional pick next year that can have escalators that are either based on team success, Brett Favre style, again, playoff, Super Bowl, stuff like that, or that he just plays a second year. If he does not, then it reverts to like a 5th. If he does, then it jumps to like a 3rd or a 2nd. I'm willing to go in those waters, but again, where does Green Bay stand? They've already said they're turning the keys over to Jordan Love. So what are you going to do with Aaron Rodgers? If you bring him in, is he going to be on the bench? Of course not. He's a 4-time NFL MVP. So it just disrupts everything they're trying to do. So again, it behooves them to move on, and it behooves the Jets to acquire him for as little as possible.
Well said, man. And it really, if I try to put my brain on either side, I can just kind of fabricate leverage on either side. But you're right. Sure. When it all boils down, they have made the decision public. They're moving on to Jordan Love. Anything that they do to limit the ability for that to be successful is a huge mistake. They need that to work. You can't make a decision to just move on from a guy like Aaron Rodgers and have it blow up in your face. You got to do everything that you can to make it succeed. And first, like you said, Aaron Rodgers could be really difficult. Just that alone, aside from not getting picks. And dude, it would be a shit show over there. We don't want to see that. So I think I like what both of you said. I'm really hoping it's not a first. I've been saying I feel like it's going to be the whole time, but I'm really hoping, it'd be great. Like you said, if it's a second and we keep 13 and we just bounce back a little bit and recoup the second.
Sure.
Free. I like
That's
that.
Boom.
Yep.
Boom.
Free Aaron Rodgers, everybody. Now, Pedro is checking in. He says Lazard is signed. Rodgers wouldn't bail on him. So, that's a good point. I don't think too many people are concerned, Pedro, about him not coming at this point. It's more about, obviously that's possible, but more what we're kind of looking at is what we're going to have to give up. I think that, he's not going to publicly say it. And the way he said it, I intend to play for the New York Jets. What a way to say it. It's fucking beautiful. I never heard anything so beautiful in my life, but that was so good. But I'm not I don't think he's going to bail. Now, as far as Lazard, Paul, how do you feel about that signing? You think that was a good one? He was on his wish list potentially, but you think that's a good signing, or is it just kind of something like, hey, you got to make him happy, but you wouldn't have done it otherwise? Where do you stand on him as just the player that we brought in?
Yeah, and before I even answer that, did you guys see what Alan Lazard tweeted out 40 minutes ago? He said me and Nathaniel Hackett at dinner right now, and he used the GIF from Paul Rudd. Hey, look at us. Who would have thought we'd be here right now? Not me. So that's freaking hilarious, by the way.
Oh, there it is. Gunny just retweeted it. There it is. I love it.
I saw that earlier. That's spectacular, right? Because, again, the NFL is a spinning world. You never know where you're going to ultimately land. But to me, I'm going to be honest, when we were doing kind of some level of free agency preview, it's been kind of overrun by the quarterback conversation. But Alan Lazard is exactly what this Jets wide receiving core needs. Again, on the surface, it's really talented. But if you're going to make a criticism, it's size. Elijah Moore, 5'10". Garrett Wilson, 6 foot flat. Corey Davis technically on the roster at 6'3", but he's going to be traded as part of that Aaron Rodgers deal, I strongly believe. So you have Allen Lazard coming in, who's 6'5", 227 pounds. He brings that red zone size. He was the leader for the Green Bay Packers in the top 3 major categories of targets, yards, and receptions last year. So a natural connection already to Aaron Rodgers. Watch that back shoulder throw for the first touchdown at MetLife Stadium in week 1. That'll be sexy. So yeah, overall, I love the player. Now, again, Allen Lazard is not Garrett Wilson. He's never had 1,000 yards in his career. So he's not this dynamic wide receiver one, but it's great to have a guy, relatively speaking, 44 million, 11 million per year average. That's a third of what the top wide receiver in all football makes to Tyreek Hill's 30 million per year. Not bad on value. I'm fine. I thought receivers were going to get, quite frankly, overpaid because there's always a high demand and then the supply is questionable. They're like, well, it's free, so you got to pay somebody. But that's been kind of the magic number. Jacoby Myers got about 11 million per year. Juju Smith-Schuster got about 11 million per year. So that's kind of the range on wide receivers. I love the player. I'm glad the Jets got him regardless of the Rodgers thing, but obviously the breadcrumbs led us to believe the Lazard signing meant this, and obviously that's been confirmed this week. I love Lazard. I think he's going to be a great number 2. You have Elijah Moore in the slot and Garrett Wilson on the other side. It's a great triplets.
Yeah, I gotta say, you just said 6'5" is exciting, man. I love it. I love
big boy.
6'5", right? Now let me ask you, and then as far as Denzel Mims, you think? I mean, are you out on Denzel Mims, Paul?
I don't know if I'm out because, again, with the new coaching staffs and new opportunities present chances for guys to burst. The only problem is he may never get that opportunity because, like I said, we have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Allen Lazard, and right now Corey Davis is on the roster. There's flirtation with Randall Cobb, who would probably replace your Jeff Smith on the roster as wide receiver 5. Where does Denzel Mims fit in? Josina Anderson also reported earlier this week that despite the Jets' interest in Lazard, who knows what will happen there? He wasn't signed at that point. They are looking at another receiver, and that's where the OBJ stuff has come in. So all of a sudden you start playing the numbers game. Ding, 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 ding. Where the hell is Denzel Mims going? So he could be another player potentially thrown in the Packers trade. They had interest leading into that draft. So that could be potential if we're throwing a bunch of players potentially into the mix. I like the player. He's going into a contract year, so he's going to be more motivated than ever, and he's dirt cheap. I'd love for the Jets to keep him, and I think the arrow is pointing up at the end of the year, but it seems like we're running out of spots on the roster, quite frankly, for him to fit in, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I know. I gotta say, I'm still bullish on Mims. I think he's like, if there's anybody out there that just had the worst string of circumstances, including the fact that LaFleur just didn't like him. He made him learn 3 positions, like whatever the fuck that was. I don't know what that was, but like the COVID, the food poison, just everything. I want to see him with this off, just start fresh and just give it a chance. If he sucks, he sucks. But, I think I'm still bullish on my boy Mims. Now, I want to say there's a New York Jets fan 4 is in the chat, and he's saying, it turns out Jimmy G did not actually sign with the Raiders. Now, I'm looking it up.
I've seen that.
What the hell's he talking about? So, it says it's still being worked out. So, it's not that he's not signing. It's just that the ink isn't necessarily on the paper yet. Paul, you're an inside guy. Did you hear anything? What can you tell us?
Immediately when I saw that, of course, all of our thoughts have to go, Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show said, if there's one player I would have put on that demand list that he shot down, he hinted it would have been Devontae Adams, and he hinted the Raiders were interested, which is something we discussed. So all of a sudden, potentially something falling through, and all of a sudden, wait, is the door open here? I texted a Raiders person I trust today, and he said it's just an odd series of circumstances that the press conference got delayed that was supposed to be earlier today. He said Jimmy Garoppolo will be a Raider. They are not interested in Aaron Rodgers. They've made that decision. So take that for what you will.
I don't know, Gunny.
I
trust Paul. I trust Paul, but I can't help. My heart rate went up just a little bit.
Of course. We're
I saw
it. Program.
Right.
Yes. I mean,
the moment I saw it in the chat, I was just like, what is he talking about? I jumped right on my phone trying to get confirmation.
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. For the rest of the show, if you guys see anything that comes through, it takes me a long time to get through the chat. So if Aaron Rodgers signs or anything, don't be afraid to just jump in and go, hey, we got some news. Go ahead, tell me, because I'll wait an hour. I'll be an hour later. Everybody's going to leave. So, hey, the main catch checking back in. Now, guys, the main catch has his own fishing channel that he just started up on YouTube. If you're in a good mood, go ahead and get over there real quick and give him a little subscriber action. He would appreciate it, I'm sure. Nice, fun fishing videos for everybody. But he says that flag is epic, would look epic in the man cave. Thanks for the good time, gentlemen. Well, main catch, because of this super chat, you are now entered to win the flag. I wish you good luck. I hope it's you and any one of the other people that are in there. I hope it's any one of you guys. That's what I hope. But good luck, main catch. And thank you for the super chat. Look, we appreciate you guys, man. Sincerely. You don't know how honestly, how much it impacts what we're doing when you guys support like this. So thank you. Now, Chode won a t-shirt one of these days, if I remember correctly. Chode's out there wearing his Green Bean duds. He says, nice. Douglas should take Green Bay for all they're worth. Flip them a conditional second, a Stromboli, and a copy of Swank magazine. They'd have to take it. Now, Gunny, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and look, we're going round and round with what they can get and what they should get. But truth be told, at the end of the day, do you think, like what Paul alluded to, that Joe Douglas is going to walk out of here once again being the guy who got the better of the trade?
There's no evidence that suggests that he will not. Like, it's hard for me to even imagine that he is not going to get what he wants, what he's comfortable with paying for Aaron Rodgers. I don't see him as being the guy that's going to overpay or is going to stress out or start panicking. Now, I did see something earlier that somebody did post in the chat that made me think, good point. I do believe that the price that Joe Douglas is willing to pay and the price that Woody Johnson is willing to pay are two different things.
Oh,
and
yes. Yeah.
At some point, if we see a trade, I feel it now. If it costs us 2 first, I promise you that wasn't Joe Douglas. That was all Woody. And somebody said that, and I was like, damn, I didn't even take that into consideration. There may be 2 different price points, but at the end of the day, Woody would push that button for something that I think would be on that side of reckless, vice being aggressive. But I don't. If JD has it his way, no way he walks away with his pants down. I just don't see it happening. Everything we've seen has proven that man walks away with a smile on his face while everybody's trying to figure out how this just happened. We've seen it time and time again, and I expect we'll see it again this time around as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still holding on to the idea. I mean, I do get it with the Woody Johnson, but Woody Johnson had over a decade of complete failure with his fingers in the batter. And he had to hire 2 outside firms to find GMs. They both sucked. And he finally has a guy. I don't know how much he's going to try to push him around. I'm sure, a guy like Aaron Rodgers, big ticket sales, jerseys, I get it. But I don't know, man. Paul, do you think just on that part of it, do you think that he would kind of say, listen, Joe, it's 2 first, get it done?
So 2 things here. First off, I've heard that Woody Johnson is the quote-unquote driving force behind this Aaron Rodgers thing. Now, that doesn't mean no one else in the building is interested. I think Woody Johnson just reads the room incorrectly, by the way, that Aaron Rodgers is the best available quarterback that can be had. I go back to a few of the critical moments in history where the camera was on Woody, and I go back to the draft that just happened in 2022 where Joe Douglas got approval from the owner to try to trade up for Jermaine Johnson. Because again, for people who don't know, there's money allotments that are different if you draft in the middle of the first round versus the top of the second round, which is where they're going to go. So that's the approval for people that overblew that at the time. But like Woody was like, of course, do what you got to do. So I feel like there's a trust from Woody. And I know that's a different moment, but there's something in my head that says like, Joe, I trust you. Like he's going to look at him and say, hey, just be patient. We're going to get him. Just do it my way. If you overreact, say, well, we'll do whatever it takes and just go. Like, I think he trusts Joe. And obviously did. He gave him a 6-year deal. To give someone that kind of power and obviously the reputation he had coming in, there's a trust factor. And I hope Jet fans kind of adopt that in the same way. I've seen Jet fans split. Half of them say, just give him whatever it takes. We just want Aaron Rodgers here. And it's just the Aaron Rodgers line. Relax. It's March 16th. We're not playing games till September. I don't think this is going to get dragged out to June. First off, one of the reasons why is the Packers want the draft picks that can help them now. If they wait till after the draft, Jets are like, fine, you want picks in 2024? We don't care. We're trying to win a Super Bowl now. Have it all the picks you want if it's after the draft. So there's an innate pressure on Green Bay to get it done so they can get picks now and maybe also in the future. So while the Gunby made a good point of someone in the chat saying that makes you think twice because the owner can do whatever the hell he wants. I still think there's a trust there with Joe Douglas. That's why he got that kind of deal. And ultimately he's going to believe in him. Maybe if it gets to a certain point, we are in June, Woody's like, just stop. We're doing it right now. And then it gets to that point. But to me, that's I think Hawk say it earlier, the nuke button in his office that he can flip at any second. I don't think we've reached that point until we're much deeper.
I like that. And it's so funny that you bring up that exact sentence, the Jermaine Johnson trade. I've had numerous people say to me, see, Joe Douglas was asking if he could. And Woody said, I didn't see that at all. Woody was just kind of saying, hey, man, like, I'd do it. Go ahead. This is exciting. He was saying, I'm going to trade up. That's what I that's how I saw it. Now, depending on the lens you're looking through, if that's what you want to see, then you can definitely see it there. But I think I landed right where you did, Paul. And I do think that Joe Douglas runs the team. Of course, Woody's the owner and he's in the room. Of course. But Joe Douglas makes the decisions. And Woody already know, dude, he tried it. He ran the ship for 15 years, him and his brother. And it was the worst 15 years of Jets history. Or give or take, 12 years, 11 years, whatever it was. But hey, Gunny, I'm going to throw this one to you. I cannot avoid it. I have to take a bio break. I'm fidgeting. I think I've consumed 36 ounces of fluid since we start. I got to do it. So I'm going to bounce this to you, Gunny. I should be back in just a moment. And if you're out of words, Paul, jump right in and have at it. I'll be right back.
Oh, great. All right.
Okay, so can we see a scenario where the Raiders could possibly trade Devontae Adams in the middle of the season when Jimmy Gags starts to suck to reunite with our boy Rodgers? Raiders are not going anywhere. You know what? What say you, Paul? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and I think you've seen it, and I know a lot of people made fun of me last night for it, but I truly saw it for the optimism and the glass half full. The Jets swung for Orlando Brown Jr., who was a free agent to be had. They swung for Fletcher Cox. To me, while they missed in both of those, and that's fine, a lot of people reminded me that they missed, that shows the aggression that they're not, Joe Douglas isn't playing around. He's willing to do whatever it takes. When you get Aaron Rodgers, who gives a flying hoot about 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 40 years from now? Again, I'm not saying he's trading 5 first-round picks into the future, but you have a different mentality. The rebuild's out the window. It's about contending and winning right now. So to twist that back here, middle of the season would be weird. I mean, anything can happen and drama, and maybe Jimmy's either hurt or is stinking, and Devontae Adams goes, F this, I want out of here. And there will always be the exit because for the escape hatch for Aaron Rodgers to say, hey, come on over here. Maybe this happens in the middle of the offseason. Who knows? Again, that's where I would go to fill another wide receiver hole if I'm the New York Jets. Again, the DeAndre Hopkins of the world, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams. Like, if we want to get sexy and we want to kind of curtail the free agency period outside of Lazard, right, that there's Jacoby Myers, OBJ, who I like a lot, but obviously there's risk in something like that. I would go after a veteran trade and then bring another weapon to the table. So is it possible? Sure, because the anger or something could burst out in the middle of the season. But if I'm the Jets and Aaron Rodgers says, I would just try to get him during the offseason because, again, that helps out the team with chemistry and everything else from that standpoint.
That's where I was going to go with it. I think middle of the season would be a stretch for me because of the chemistry piece, right? At that point, you got these guys firing on all cylinders. What if things are working great, right? Do you want to bring somebody in like a Devontae who's going to need or demand his own freaking targets? And for me, you don't mess with a good thing. If you see freaking Garrett Wilson taking that next step, if he's taking that next step, he is Devontae Adams 2.0, right? Like Elijah Moore might take that next step with a quarterback that's competent enough to get him the ball. When you see those guys making moves, and in middle of the season, man, you could throw a wrench in that whole process and slow down progress by addition, right? This is like addition by subtraction, in my opinion. But if we can get them before the season starts, get them into training camp, 100%. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've kind of grown keenly on the Mike Evans idea. I've been watching you and Buffalo talk about it a lot on the show, and I went back and I had to look at some of the. I'm like, man, they're right. This guy doesn't miss. He has not missed at a 1,000-yard season.
Durability, baby.
Who.
Yes.
Like he just doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. So I've become kind of have a little man crush on Mike Evans potentially if that trade became a possibility. But Devontae Adams, if it was going to happen for me, I'm with you, Paul. I think it would have to be done like now in the offseason. Let's not throw a wrench in something if things are going good in the middle of the season just because Devontae Adams is angry and wants out.
Yeah, I like it. I like what you guys said. And I like Mike Smith too, or I'm sorry, Mike Evans too. Just quickly, Paul, what do you think it would take to get Michael Evans? I didn't hear you guys talk about it. So what do you think it would take?
No. Yeah, and again, depending on what Tampa Bay is going to do, they've kind of had one foot in one door, one foot in the other. What I mean by that is they brought back Levante David, but they've allowed other veterans to leave. So you're not really sure, are they trying to contend? They bring in Baker Mayfield. They have Kyle Trask. Like, what's happening there? So again, if they're looking to hit the eject button, and people have floated out both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as one of those two guys, that either one obviously would be incredibly dynamic. I'm not sure it's 13. To me, it would be some other package. Again, everyone wants to go conditional because it just kind of prepares you. But, like, let's try to see what the other veterans went for. Devontae Adams went for a first and a second. I don't think Mike Evans is as good as Devontae Adams. I think he's very good. Can we do 2 and a 4? Like, let's go old school. Remember the Braylon Edwards trade back in the day was a third and a fifth, and there was things around it. Santonio Holmes went for a fifth straight up, but there was other problems around him. So maybe 2 and a 4, something like that for Evans. Again, you have to weigh everything. Free agency has to happen and things of that nature to fill all the holes to see where you could get aggressive. But that's someone I would like. He again adds more size, dynamic playmaking ability, touchdown machine. And super durable, which is the thing I love. When people bring up Hopkins, he's just always hurt. He's dynamic, but he's always hurt. Mike Evans is always on the football field, and I love reliability at that position.
It's huge, man. It's such a big deal. Like when you have these players and they miss half the season, or even like 4 or 5 games every year. That's a hindrance. That's tough. Now, Clifford Canty, I want to tell you, buddy, you won a T-shirt last week, and you haven't contacted me, man. So there's the email in the description of the video. Send me your address and everything, and I'll get you a T-shirt. You bastard. Come on. I want to get you what you want. And now he's in there again for another one, but he says, you guys are forgetting about Mims. Well, we just mentioned him a few minutes ago, and I see Hennessy's in there busting my balls that it can't be a GreenBean stream without at least mentioning Mims. Well, now you see, Hennessy, I'm not the only one who wants to talk about Mims. Now, this is what I'll say about Denzel Mims. Like Paul said it before, it could just be a numbers game, especially if we bring in another one of Aaron Rodgers' requested players. Let's say it's just Cobb. Depending on how it goes, Mims just might be the odd man out. I'd hate to see it. I really do think that, again, he's gotten a raw deal, in my opinion. Now, I could be making it up because I like him. Who knows? I think that this would be a perfect offense. Hackett likes the bigger receivers. I think he would have a nice role in here. And I think that it would be real nice to see him with a full, just clean slate and a real chance, full season to do it. And I think that we'd all love him. And it's a contract year, man. So he's going to be uber motivated on top of everything. But I don't think we're forgetting about him. I think that it's just a lot of people – they don't think very highly of him, Cliff, and I think that's really what it boils down to. A lot of people have looked past him, which is interesting, by the way, because we can acknowledge that LaFleur had lots of inadequacies, a lot of weird shit that he did, right? Yeah. One of the things that he did as soon as he got here was he just kind of took Mims, who had a really nice rookie season, and he put him on the outside. He didn't like him, and again, they're making him learn 3 positions, which I've never heard of before. Why did they do that? Who knows? Well, it's pretty evident that LaFleur didn't like him as a player, right? He was using Tariq Black over him and all kinds of weird shit, which is just silly. But we all looked at that as proof that Mims sucks. But now we acknowledge that LaFleur had his issues. So can't we kind of find, well, maybe Mims and Elijah Moore, who hated LaFleur, and Michael Carter, who he fumbled in Buffalo and just never saw the ball again 3 times a game. So LaFleur was kind of weird with that stuff. Why can't we just maybe just explore the idea that maybe LaFleur was the reason and not Mims? Makes sense. What do you think?
100%.
Nobody likes it, Cliff. Nobody's with me over
here. Yeah. Sorry, Cliff. Yeah. Again, he's in the room. He's in the room.
He's in the
room.
Whoa,
Mama Zita.
Mims is going to light it all up. You'll see.
Wow. How many T-shirts is that?
this doesn't get
Yeah.
any Cy Thompson, but he's in anyway. He did one before.
He hasn't seen it yet.
Shown is my hero. Now I wonder why. I wonder why that is. I'd love to know why Cy Thompson. Jeremy, if you see him put Y in there, maybe he saved his cat. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what show does out there. So let's see what else we got here. So King Lowski checking in. He says, this season is already looking special, gentlemen. We got more depth on the offensive line. Our run game will be epic. Jets, Jets. Maybe now get a vet center. Paul, do you feel that way? Are you feeling like this is already lining up to be a special season?
Yes. I will answer every layer of this. Is it a special season? Of course it is. We're going to be talking Super Bowl. They're going to be talking to us on every show. We're going to, when the schedule comes out in May, the Jets will have 5 primetime games, so appreciate that, folks. They're going to have the maximum amount of primetime games, and I'm looking forward to that. Now, we got more depth on the offensive line. That's why I would aggressively push back. They lost Dan Feeney. They lost Nate Herbig. When you start going through, they actually have no backups whatsoever on the interior offensive line. So, no, they need to do more work in that realm unless I missed something today. I've known all the guys they've lost, like Dan Feeney and everybody apparently going to the Miami Dolphins. Has anyone noticed the divisional rivals digging through our scrap heaps? Like New England went, we signed James Robinson. We're like, good for you.
Yeah.
Awkward. The Dolphins are like, Mike White, okay. Dan Feeney, wait, he's still in the league? Like, Braxton Berrios, yeah, okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. That's a position we're in. But, yeah, we need more depth on the interior offensive line specifically. We could talk about offensive tackle. The one game will be epic. The Jets chant is amazing. A veteran center would be interesting. They did check in on Brendel from the 49ers. Apparently, according to Zach Rosenblatt, offered him more money, but he still wanted to go back to San Francisco. So they're digging around the center market, and I did hear that the Jets are, quote-unquote, in no rush to bring back Connor McGovern, even with the reduced salary. So that's unfortunate because he reached out to me and said that he wanted to be back on the Jets, so it's kind of uncomfortable. It's like, we don't feel the same way. So it looks like they will – again, we just heard the signing earlier, obviously. What's his name again, GreenBean?
Yeah,
so Wesley
Schneitzer.
Schneitzenberg,
Schnitzel,
Ritzel. So apparently he's played some center for, why Whistle Haklamesh. Apparently he played some center last year among other positions. So I don't know if that means he's the answer or he's part of that depth that we were just talking about. But he's an interesting guy. So I would still like the day 2 draft. I think it was Gunby who brought it up, but brought it up like tepidly. Like, I want to kind of put my toe in the water. I know a lot of people aren't cool with this, but I'm going to just dip my toe in the water. Come on, Gunby. Like, you know what? Pull up the big boy pants and just lay it on the line. So we're going after John Michael Schmitz, or we're just getting Whippler, baby. Like, just like, maybe, I don't know if we could possibly do this thing in the center. Like, come on, man. So, yes, I want that day 2 center, baby. Give me some of that juice. Give me that youth. And obviously, GreenBean said it earlier. Again, another Jet fan on the team. Why the heck not?
I love it. I love it. Now, I'm going to go back to the other super chats, but this one calls for a little bit of leapfrog action. I want to thank Ab Lab Studios, our good buddy, for checking in. It's good to see you, man. Always have great takes on top of your extremely generous nature. He says, we don't need another wide receiver. Feels like we have to find touches for Moore and Mims. JD more than likely will get extended. He's going to be here longer than Aaron Rodgers. He's got to get value on these two, even if he wants to trade if they wind up being mid-talent. Now, that you know what, dude? You're not the first person. Somebody said that to me similarly anyway yesterday, that we're good. We don't need to bring in other wide receivers. Now, I can find that, especially with the tight ends, right? Like, let's say, Conklin stays. There was some rumors that maybe he could be included in a trade. I don't know how substantial they were, or whatever, but maybe. So let's assume all of our guys are here. Now we want to bring in Mercedes Lewis and all that. You got Ruckert, you got CJ Uzoma, you have Conklin, and then Yeboah, which is also another guy that they like, does well on special teams and whatever. But you have those guys, all of them have at least, I would say an above average ability to be receiving tight end. They're good blockers, but they can all catch passes. Then you have the running backs, right? You got the Brees Halls, Michael Carters, Bam. They can all receive the ball as well. They're not those running backs that, that just can't do it, and they are out there. And then you take Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims. We have Lazard. Do we have enough? I mean, is it maybe like, hey, let's stop looking in this area? If we do, it's just depth, like you said, maybe mid-round guys or something like that. You think that we got enough firepower, Paul? I mean, is that where we are?
I think as Jet fans, sometimes we got to take a step back. Again, sometimes you can't see the forest and the trees, so to speak. Here's the thing. Elijah Moore's coming off a crappy year in which he requested a trade in the middle of. Again, we all know the potential. We're in the offseason. I was singing it as loud as anybody. Oh, my God, this guy's a superstar. Sexy, great, awesome. And then what happened? Like, I still think he's uber talented, and they have him dirt cheap for the next 2 years, but it's hard to just assume he's going to be great. Garrett Wilson's great, obviously. But then we start going down the roster. Denzel Mims, for as much as the Mims stands in the audience, the year, quite frankly, the career hasn't been what we were hoping for. So there's just a lot of like Garrett Wilson's great. Corey Davis, I don't think is long for New York. Again, I think he's getting traded to the Green Bay Packers as part of that trade. So when you really start valuing the room, you're like, we do need more receivers. Again, if you're in the green colored glasses, which I like to be because I am a optimistic guy and a glass half full and all that. But if you just take the step back, Mims is a question mark. Elijah Moore's a question mark. And then who else do we have? Corey Davis is going to be gone. So you have Garrett Wilson. Okay, there's one. Randall Cobb is wide receiver 5. Alan Lazard, who we talked about, should be nice. But I just don't think it's as easy of a slam dunk as we would hope it'd be as guys, as former second-round picks. We wish that would be slam dunks. And if they were, of course, we wouldn't be talking about wide receiver. But the fact that we are indicates that there has been something less than desired here, quite frankly, from both of these individuals.
Interesting take. And you're right about the green colored goggles. I can't help it, Gunny. So I try. So you got to take the step back. It's funny because on one hand in my life, I'm a cynical bastard. I really am. Where the Jets are concerned, I do find myself being like sometimes inappropriately optimistic. I don't know what the hell where that came from. Maybe I'm just a lot of abuse. You just slap happy. But Gunny, how do you feel about the wide receivers? Do you think that maybe we're good? Do you think we need another one? Where do you stand on this one?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of agree with Ablab on this, and maybe it's the green shade of glasses, I guess, because I look at this. I look at Elijah Moore, and I watched all 22. That all 22 access was just awesome to have access to last year. I can't wait to buy it again this year. But Elijah Moore got open at will, like it was. And it wasn't close. He got open at will this season. I really think Mike LaFleur just took him out of the picture as being an option, right? Like, hey, Aaron, or hey, Zach, you're going to go to your first read, second read, throw it away. And I think he somehow made freaking Elijah be the third or fourth or fifth option. But if you watch the tape, Elijah Moore literally got open at will. I'm talking about consistently. Like it was kind of disgusting just how easy it looked. Denzel Mims, man, I'm a big fan of things you can't teach. Speed and size. This dude was making contested catches in Baylor when he first came out. We all were elated. He fell to the second round, right? That talent doesn't just disappear. He had a decent, first year, then kind of fell off the mark. Injuries, getting sick. Mike LaFleur, like a lot of things I think came into play. I really don't think we've even seen like a portion of what Moore and Mims can actually do. Like again, maybe I'm just being a homer, but I think Mike LaFleur was more an issue than a lot of us are giving these guys credit for. And of course, Zach Wilson is still trying to learn the game too. If you put Aaron Rodgers out there next year, and then those guys show us similar statistics or performances like they did, then we know, all right, they don't have it at this level. But I really doubt that's the case. I really doubt that's the case. I think you're going to see a huge uptick from Elijah Moore and Denzel Mims if Denzel's on the roster this year. But I like our wide receiver core. I do think we need to go ahead and bring in, a couple more guys, but not to the point where we have to trade for somebody. Now, if we're chasing the Super Bowl this year, which I do believe it's like in the frontier of the brain, then yeah, you can get freaking Mike Evans for a second or a third. I'm not going to cry about it. I don't think any of us would cry about that.
So good. It really is so good. But I'm with you. Now, I want to say this too, Ablab. I also agree that Joe Douglas is here for the long haul. I mean, there's all kinds of people saying he's on the hot seat. Now, Saleh, you can make the argument to me. I don't think that either, but you can make the argument. Joe Douglas, again, 3 years ago, complete and utter laughing stock for a full decade, other than 2015, the one anomalous, weird year. We have been a fucking shit show for a decade. Joe Douglas comes, tears it down, gets rid of these guys, brings in, and now we're literally considered, even before he announced it, the number one landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. We were called the number one most attractive spot for the free agent quarterbacks. Dude, the fact that he just said, I want to play for the Jets. That's not happening 3 years ago. It's not happening. That's what Joe Douglas did here. And Robert Saleh, for that matter, with the culture and everything. It's a completely different environment. So I'm with Ablab. And thank you again for the super chat. I want to just answer, and then I got to say something to you, Paul. Garrett says, are pizza rolls just essentially mini strombolis? I want to say no. No, they are not, Garrett. Come on now. What are we doing here, Garrett? They're not mini strombolis. They're pizza rolls. Now, Paul, look, it's 10:07. You said you'd hang out with us for an hour. I'm very grateful. But it's looking like we're going to be here a while. So I want to just say to you, if you need to go, absolutely okay. I'm, again, grateful that you're able to come. If you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to hang out. I might be here another hour. But that's up to you. But if you want to take this opportunity and escape while you can, I would understand. So where do you stand? You want to hang out another hour? You want to hang out 10 minutes? You want to leave? What do you got?
I appreciate that. Well, because of our agreement, again, before we hopped on, that I was getting 99% of the super chats upon Green coming in here, I am absolutely willing to continue my investment on this show. Yes, thank you. And send the check. Thank you. Yep, excellent.
There you go. So Paul's going to hang out. I do want to remind everybody, this is Boy Green, Paul Boy Green Esden, who, by the way, happens to be one of the featured what's the word I'm looking for?
Superstar, handsome hunk,
featured right?
franchise player.
Exactly. He's one of the stars of the new One Jets Drive Productions documentary on Jets Twitter, including other fellows we love like Richie and from Jets Media and MYJ Mike and Matt. But Paul's the star. He's on there. It was released today. It's on New York Jets YouTube page. I can't wait to see it, man. I'm genuinely excited to see it. I just can't wait. And I'm like, I want to say proud of you, but I'm happy for you. That's why I'm excited that you got to do it, man.
Thank you.
One of the coolest things.
I really appreciate it. Again, GreenBean, I know you're begging before the show. Again, I will still autograph a copy of the poster for you, and I will send it to you. Okay? we will figure that out. Absolutely. I appreciate all the support, fellas. It was pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool, baby.
Yeah, man. And obviously you can find Paul everywhere. The Jet Zone podcast. He has a new podcast out. And what's your YouTube channel? It's just Boy Green, isn't it? Paul Boy Green.
It is at Boy Green 25, baby. Make it easy. It's at Boy Green 25 everywhere. The Twitter, the Facebook, the Gram, the YouTube. It's all there, baby. Yes.
Amazing. And there he is. Okay, so Wrong Verbs checking in. Now that Boy Green's going to hang out with us. He says, I think the backlash Packers president got for saying Aaron Rodgers was done there is the reason they went back on the deal, trying to save a little face. Paul, what do you think of that? Is that what you're hearing? Do you think that maybe he spoke a little bit out of turn and that's why they had to kind of clam up a little bit?
That seems so weird. So because he was an idiot, Mark Murphy, the Packers president and CEO, spoke about Aaron Rodgers very openly in the past tense and saying, oh, man, we said that. No. Now we got to change the trade. Oh, no, now we got to back up. I don't know. I don't buy any of that bullshit. I don't buy that. I don't buy, as some Packers people were putting it on social media, that as soon as Aaron Rodgers said, hey, again, this was a conversation that the Jets and Packers were close to a trade prior to Aaron Rodgers saying anything on the Pat McAfee show. And as soon as he said, I want to be a Jet, the Packers almost seemingly pulled the offer, increased the price, and sent it back to the Jets because that, again, to me, I think all of that is bullshit, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I can't find it either, like the logic of it.
Right,
all.
correct.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm not sure. I mean, it did seem a little bit forward. And, one of the things, Gunny, I actually meant we started saying this before and we got sidetracked. But I'll say it now in conjunction with what Wrong Verb is saying. Aaron Rodgers said he went into the darkness retreat, 90% retiring, 10% playing, came out, found out Green Bay wanted to move on, and said, F that, I'm playing, and I want to play for the Jets. Now, we've seen Aaron Rodgers motivated in this similar way before when he was passed on by the Niners and subsequently everybody else in the draft. We saw it when they drafted Jordan Love. He comes back with two back-to-back MVP seasons in response to them drafting a quarterback. Do you think that's kind of what we're seeing? It's that Aaron Rodgers with a chip. He's doing it specifically to make someone pay. Is that what you're reading, Gunny?
Yeah, 100%. I think this is a man that came out of that darkness retreat at peace with the decision he had made with himself, feels comfortable he could still keep playing, but was probably going to go ahead and do right and walk away, let the organization do their own thing, and then saw that they were willing to go ahead and toss him aside. And I don't know, man, an angry Aaron Rodgers is going to be a fun Aaron Rodgers because people keep talking about like he's washed. I find it comical. People keep saying that. The guy had top 10 stats last year with a broken thumb on his throwing hand, no number one wide receiver, and bruised ribs, but he's washed. I'll take that. If that's washed, I'll take that washed all day, right? I think Aaron Rodgers coming in is going to take this very, very seriously. I've been telling people a lot. They were like, why would he come to the AFC? It's crazy. I know I'll be the first when when Paul Boy Green first stated it, like I think back in December or January, I was like, man, that sounds crazy. It will be great, but that's just crazy. What's funny is my wife, while we were watching the game, the Detroit Lions game, and whenever they lost the game and they were walking out of the Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb, she said it. She was like, he's not coming back. That's the last time he's going to walk through
Paul, his wife is a diehard Packers fan. If you didn't know, his wife is legit.
I know. I saw ahead of the Jets-Packers thing, they both had a great video montage package about it, I remember. Yes, that was great. And then I heard their bet about the kids and how they would divvy it up. Oh yeah, that was Jeff's kiss, baby.
I didn't mean to cut
so
you
she
off.
Had called it.
To make sure
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I did not think it was going to happen. Like I said before, Aaron Rodgers was what all of us wanted with our hearts, but with our minds, I just did not see it being reality. And here it is. But now he's angry. And again, he stated, I want to keep playing and I want to play for the Jets. And when they asked him, like, oh, would you still keep playing and play for the Packers? He was like, I don't know. There's a different mentality. He's coming back purely to prove a point. And I think that point is you guys quit on me a little too soon. So I'm going to go over here and take this team to the playoffs and show you guys I'm still an MVP caliber quarterback. You got to have a level of narcissism and ego to play at this level in the NFL. And I think you've got to admit that Aaron Rodgers fits the billet very well. So I think once that took a hit, he was just like, yeah, darkness retreat be damned. I'm going to go ahead and fuck everything up. Like I'm playing. And I'm going to go ahead and show this league and this team that they made a big mistake in letting me go. So I love Aaron Rodgers with a chip on his shoulder all day, like all day.
I love it, Paul. I think we're getting an angry Aaron Rodgers too. Again, man, that's how he's had most of his success. He was pissed when San Francisco didn't draft. They drafted Alex Smith. Remember that? He thought he was going, and he was home. He was perfect. He said that, man. He was pissed. For 3 years, he sat behind Favre, stewing on it. You know what I mean? I like
Yeah.
Hank,
again, I think that's great.
Yeah. Okay, so we all agree. I mean, listen, man, I think it's going to be good. I just hope he's over here and stays for more than 10 minutes. That's my concern. I don't want him here for 1 year.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, look, if he comes and wins the Super Bowl, a la like Messier for the Rangers back, and he just decides to leave, you okay? You're like, fuck it. He gave us what we couldn't get for 50 years.
I'll even make this statement before we know the results. I know what you just said, GreenBean. I'm totally cool if it's only 1 year. Again, of course, do we want 2, 3, or whatever? Of course. But 1 year, after 12 years of suck, that's what it is. Suck. No playoffs, a flirtation in 2015, a sort of flirtation in 2011, but suck. Okay, and you're telling me I get one chance, one opportunity. I feel like Eminem here, but like you get one chance, one opportunity here as we're working up here to just have a chance. Everyone seems to wholeheartedly agree. You get Aaron Rodgers, all of a sudden people are talking about them clearly playoff, clearly AFC East contender. They've won that since 2002. Like clearly all these other things. We haven't had any of that sort of talk on any real basis in a long time. So if we have a guaranteed chance to just see, with Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance in any game. Any game on the schedule, Chiefs, Cowboys, all these other games they have, you're like, we have Aaron Rodgers. Of course we can win that game. Look at our defense. Of course we can. When's the last time we could say that? So I will take a year right now without knowing the result. And yes, I personally think that he could play 2 years. Maybe that's possible. But if he wins the Super Bowl, especially how he talked about the Pat McAfee show, not even this time, a previous time, they said the goal would be, of course, to win a Super Bowl and kind of walk off into the sunset. I think he would be tempted to do the Tom Brady, win it your first year, and then just walk away. I'm good. I did everything I want to do. Check it off the bucket list, move on. And by the way, I'd be perfectly happy with that result. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's like, of course we'd want more, but shit, man, we've been waiting 50 years. If he came and gave it to us, he can go. Thank you.
Sure.
And then we get to see if Zach Wilson did anything with that year.
Our guy,
making his season hell. Hank G checking in. CA 550. What the hell is that? Is that Canadian dollars? Is that what
that's
is?
Canadian
amulets? Yeah, what is
Canadian amulets. I like it. Great show, guys. I think that the trade happens before the draft. Otherwise, the Packers miss out on any comp this year unless they want players from us. You know, and just look, we've kind of gone over this a lot, and I don't want to leave Hank in the lurch here. Players that could be involved. Like we've heard Corey Davis. We've heard Elijah Moore a little bit. I have heard Conklin, but here's one that I think somebody said it yesterday, and I said, you know what, that might be real. What about Carl Lawson, Paul? Do you think that he could be involved? And if not, who do you think realistically? What players do you think we just might hear are involved in the trade?
Sure. First off, right off the bat, I would be flabbergasted. There's a word that doesn't get enough play in today's society. If Elijah Moore was included, I don't think he will be. Again, unless the Packers held the Jets' feet to their flames, and then all of a sudden, all the picks we're talking about of like a 2 this year and a this year, all of that goes away if you're trying to get Elijah Moore, who's this young guy. So I think, guys, it would be, again, Corey Davis, I am like 99% sure he's actually in the trade. I feel that confident that he's actually in the trade. Other guys that could make sense, and this one, could be floated out there. Jeremy Ruckert. He just took a redshirt year, and we all love Ruckert. We love the story and everything. But if you think about it, CJ Uzomah's contract was reworked. Tyler Conklin's contract was reworked. That kind of guarantees their placement here for a little while. And then we're flirting around with Mercedes Lewis, big dog. How many tight ends are we going to have on the team? So when you start thinking about that, the interest would then make sense if you flip like a Ruckert. So Ruckert could be – so Corey Davis, I'm like 100% sure he's going to be in the trade. Jeremy Ruckert could be. A Denzel Mims could be. And then it's picks. But those are the kinds of players we're talking about here. And you mentioned Carl Lawson. I would hate that personally because I really like Carl Lawson. I prefer a restructure or a mini extension to spread the cap hit. Maybe add some void years. Do whatever you want to do. I think Carl Lawson's going to be even better this year. Another year removed away from the Achilles. And because the Jets waited on the Lawson decision, there's not a lot of elite edge rushers out there that suddenly you would replace that money with. So I think you're better served holding on to Carl Lawson. That'd be kind of a weird one. But Corey Davis, for sure, I imagine he's in the trade. But guys like Ruckert, Mims, no Elijah Moore. Those are the kinds of conversations I'd be willing to have on players.
Yeah, I never even thought of Ruckert. That would pain me, because all the love with his dad. I mean, obviously,
of course.
But again, like you said, man, how many tight ends can we have? Now, Gunny, I'll throw this one to you. Straight up, man. You willing to trade a first for Jamal Adams? Devontae Adams. Right?
I'm going to go with no for Jamal. And I'm going to go with no for Devontae Adams. I really don't think wide receiver is that big of a need for us. Again, if we're talking about a second or a third, now you've got my attention. A first round draft pick to me is pretty valuable. It's pretty valuable, especially in the hands of a Joe Douglas. And I have a hard time. It's fucking Devontae Adams, man. No,
it's Devontae Adams. That's what I was about to say. Gumby, what the hell are you talking about? Of course I would give up first round pick. He's 30 years old, the best receiver in the game. The fuck? Of course I would give up the 13th overall pick. Take it, baby. Yes.
Really? Knowing right now that we have needs on the offensive line, you would take Devontae Adams?
Yeah, he'd be a nice wide receiver behind Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
Right, and a wide receiver too, no less. Oh, God, I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth. I just
know.
wonder how many firsts we have, everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
We're just giving them all out.
Yeah, Pedro, right. We got a whole bunch of firsts. I mean, we're used to it's like, look, the last few years we've had multiple. That ain't this year. We gotta slow down with how many firsts we're giving out. But Eminon's out there wearing his Green Bean Ain't No Happenstance t-shirt. Well, thank you. I'm proud to know that you're out there in public wearing my face on your chest. So thank you, Eminon, and I appreciate you telling me. That's awesome. Let's see what else we got here. I saw another one. There it is. Another one from Pedro. Look at this. Pedro's in this thing tonight. Thank you, Pedro. I appreciate it. Or maybe there's a different Pedro. I think the other one had 3. All right, I'm mixing it up. We got more than one Pedro in here tonight. That's what I think it is. Not sure if y'all heard, but Trey Wingo reported that Aaron Rodgers will be a New York Jet next week. And that's kind of what Paul was saying. He thinks about a week. Were you kind of basing that a little bit too, using Trey Wingo? He seems to be in the know, Paul.
Yeah, this is actually two-pronged here. What Pedro's also saying is literally in New York, not just with the Jets. He is planning to fly to New York, but it's twofold, Green Bean. You are right. Trey Wingo also reported that he believes he's going to be a Jet, whether it takes the weekend or into next week. And he also, in addition to that, said he is also planning to fly to New York, from what we understand. And again, what other reason would you have to fly? The Jets OTAs things aren't for a month. That starts, I believe it's on the 18th of April. So the only way to go there is the press conference. And if you're going for a press conference, that indicates a trade. So those are the pieces of picking up. And yes, that's partly from what Wingo said and partly of my own brain that, again, I just feel like ultimately the Packers take the weekend, take a few days getting away from the Pat McAfee thing and just say, come on, guys. We want to go with love. Let's just get whatever assets we can. Let's move on our offseason. Let's go with whatever our plan is. And for the Jets side, let's get our guy in it. Both sides just kind of shake hands. There's a lot of connective tissue here. Remember, Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur, best friends. The Hackett thing. And Rodgers is one of their best players in program history that they want to take care of. I think all of that will ultimately lead to that. So it's a two-pronged thing there from Pedro.
I like the distinction. I didn't read it like that. I appreciate that. Aaron Rodgers in New York. That'll be so nice. And then Woody Johnson.
Yes, very nice.
Woody Johnson can take pictures with him and have uncomfortable conversations like he did with Sauce Gardner last year. That was fun. Watching Woody try to be cool with Sauce. I like that.
Yeah, it's somewhat uncomfortable, but yeah.
Yeah. Clifford Canty says, yeah, I totally agree, Green Bean. Give Mims a damn chance. And then you put your address in the chat, you crazy bad. You don't know who these crazy people are. Come on, Cliff. He wants to get his shirt. I get it. I'm not going to be able to find it in the chat, Cliff. I mean, maybe Jeremy will go look and maybe we'll find it. But
hey, Green Bean.
Yeah.
If I give you my social security number in the chat, can you send me a Green Bean shirt? Is that how it? Is that
well, that's all I need. Address, social security number.
What type? Okay, great.
Your mother's maiden name.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But listen, Cliff, we'll try to look for it, but it's really hard. I mean, there are quite literally thousands of chats. My email is just look. All right, look, you're watching the screen. Okay, I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to do something for you. Okay, we're going to take a second. I'm going to show you, Cliff. This is exactly how you do it. All right. Now it's going to get
we're
weird.
about to Wizard of Oz this shit. He's about to drop the curtain. Oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah, so it's going to get weird in a second. So we're going to start seeing all kinds of weird.
Oh, wow. Inception. Yeah, there we go.
But look, so Cliff, what? Now it's going to keep going. It's going to get weird. So this is where it is. Now look, I'm going to scroll up here, right here. Okay, here's the screen. Here's this stuff. Right here is the description. Cliff, you just click this, show more. My email is right here. Okay? So just email me your address and I'll get it out to you right away. I promise. I'll get you the t-shirt. And then you got to tell me which t-shirt you want and all that jazz. What size, what color. It's in my merch store. My merch store is right here too. I think it is anyway. At least it used to be. It's right below the video, I think. Anyway.
And look at all this flex. Look at all this flexing by Green Bean. He's like, yeah, we literally have thousands of comments. Literally, I have plenty of shirts in my shop. Wow. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Just a little humble brag. Just a little humble brag.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Well, that's
if only I had the life.
Yeah. That's where the email is, and that's where the merch is and all that jazz. So again, I just don't want number one, I want you to get it, right? Number two, I don't want all these freaks like Kareem. Kareem's going to be sending you stuff, showing up at your house. Who wants that? Or this guy? Look what he's saying. You don't want that guy bothering you. All right, Kareem, leave him alone, damn it. All right, Daniel Murphy checking in. Thank you, Daniel. He says, got to crash, but who is everybody's favorite remaining free agent for? You mean not Aaron Rodgers? Why do you want to talk about anything else? Remaining free agent. Love your guys' content. Jets YouTubers are the goats of the NFL. I agree, man. Nobody has it like we have it, dude. We are thick, and I think we're awesome. I love our content creators. So thank you, Daniel. But you know what, Gunny, I'll start with you. And then I'll hear if you have one guy that's left out there, and I don't even know if you know who's out there anymore, but who's your target if you can have one free agent that the Jets are to sign? Who is it?
The safety out of the Eagles. I don't know if he's been signed yet or not.
I don't think so. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Yeah.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Yeah, I want him. I want him bad. Ball hawk. This dude can cover. I think he's the I really believe like if we can get a guy like that in the room right now, we can literally just focus on the offensive line and the defensive line in the draft. Aaron Rodgers back there at quarterback. I think it puts a lot of things together. So I want Gardner Johnson bad. I do. When he became available, I was kind of surprised that the Eagles didn't re-sign him, but safety's not a premium position. They decided to bring back Darius Slay instead. So I'm ecstatic if we can bring him into the fold. I really would be. So I'm holding my breath because I know he might be a little too pricey, but that's who I would like to see. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as a New York Jet. That's my favorite remaining free agent in this
Nothing wrong with that. I like that. Paul, who you going for?
Yeah, first off, as far as I can see, CGJ is still hanging out as a free agent, so okay. I would love that one. But I will go outside the box. This is one that I've been pounding the table for since I think it was either yesterday or the day before. All the days, quite frankly, are running together. They all end in Y. That's all I know. Calais Campbell, he's the guy I want. I know he's older, but again, nice. Obviously, I have no problem with ageism. I'm fine. I do not discriminate based on age. And for anything else, for that matter. But yeah, Calais Campbell, baby, 6'8", would bring some beef, can play inside, outside, a former Walter Payton Man of the Year, team leader, Joe Douglas connection from his Ravens time. So he can obviously check in on that for the kind of man that he is. He would come relatively cheap, could play next to Quinnen, could play defensive end. He's a versatile player, would come relatively cheap. And again, the chance to win a championship. All of those, he is my favorite player that has been released into the free agent pool. I'd pound the table for him for the Jets. I'd pound the table to anyone that would want to listen. I think he would be a secret sauce guy that could be a key piece. He could be our version of Chris Jenkins in a much different way that we had in the late 2000s / early 2010s. Like he could have that kind of impact, I believe, even at his age.
I think you're right. That was actually the guy I was going to say. But so while Paul was doing that, what I did was I checked over here. Let me show you guys what we got.
Oh, cool.
This is the free agent tracker. So here we got who's left here. Look at all these names, though, guys. A couple years ago, these guys. Look at the way. A couple of years ago, these guys were the shit. Come on, I can't make it.
Carson Wentz. Yeah.
Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan,
Kenny Galladay. Wow.
Look at all this.
Look at these names.
Look, Thielen.
Choices.
Look at all these guys. You got Frank Clark, Ezekiel Elliott, Tom Brady's still out there.
Nice.
Robbie Anderson, remember him? Look at all this. J.J. Watt. I don't know why he's on the list, but all these guys. These are the guys that were signed. Look at all these guys. Now I'll say they have one guy at the top here. Look at this as the number one free agent left, and I'm going to tell you guys, he's not anymore because where'd he go?
Who?
Right. Wait, where the hell did it go? I'm sorry. Oh, I lost it. Shit. They had Wes Schweitzer. Damn it.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
I lost my joke. Anyway, so I think Calais Campbell would be a slam dunk, especially like you're saying. We just happened to lose a couple of guys. I thought we were definitely going to keep one up. Now, I'm not too upset about Shepard, but I did like Rankins. And I think right now we're a bit thin. And I think it would be a slam dunk signing. And I'd like to see it get done, especially finding out that we were in on Fletcher Cox.
I would have so loved Fletcher Cox, man. Yeah, Quinnen Williams grew up watching his tape. Oh, man, he would have been a great player still at this age of his career. Oh, I would love Fletcher Cox.
Me too. It's funny seeing guys like Clowney and Ngakoue and all these guys are still. I know it's still early, of course. We know that, but
Oh wow! I got a question for you guys. How do you feel about DJ Chark? We're talking about potentially bringing in some more wide receiver depth. DJ Chark is still a young cat. You know what I'm saying? At 6'3", 6'2", big body wide receiver. How do y'all feel about him potentially?
I'd give him a bag of Doritos, something like that. I'm not willing to go too crazy, but he's obviously a speed guy, which is something we'd love. Yeah. That's the kind of flyer I'd like to take. Detroit took a similar flyer when he left Jacksonville. So again, he's an intriguing dart throw that I'd be intrigued by, that you could throw into the mix. I don't know if he would be my top option, but he's certainly one that is a traits guy that you could love.
Okay.
Yeah, look, well, he had 30 receptions last year, 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, 24 first downs. So he'd be, he's in that role. He could be one of those guys. I think I'd rather my Denzel Mims as my wide receiver 3 or 4. But yeah, I mean, he's interesting. You're not alone there, Gunny. I mean, he's brought up at least once a week in my sphere. Somebody always brings up and last year he was a name as well. But yeah, I mean, he's a good player. I wouldn't be unhappy, but that's not the guy I'm really going for. Let's see what else we got here. Leo checking back in as if this is so great, as if this was a second ago, right? That's my point. Devontae Adams, Hopkins, we need a strong number 2, like a Waddle and Hill combo, in my opinion. I'd love to have more in the slot. That's it. Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say, Leo. That's Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims is not only going to be, he's going to start at 5, earn the 4, blow us away with the 3. Next thing you know, he's a number 2. And then him and Garrett Wilson are lighting the league on fire. You heard it here first. That's where it's going down. But yeah, I mean, look, like we're talking about though, Leo, it's like, guys like Devontae Adams or Hopkins, you're going to have to trade and you're going to have to give away some real assets. They're not coming here for, a 5th round pick kind of. It's just not real. So you got to make some decisions. And then obviously we got to see what happens with Rodgers. If we do have to give up our 1st round pick, that's it. It's a wrap. You're not going to get Devontae Adams for a 2nd round pick or something. I mean, you brought up a good point, Paul, with the Braylon Edwards, the 3rd and the 5th. But I don't think Devontae Adams is in that category as much as, like Braylon Edwards had all those issues in Cleveland. He punched LeBron James's friend or whatever. They kind of wanted him out of there. It was a trouble thing. They were looking to move on. So we got him a little bit cheaper than maybe the going rate would be. But I mean, look, who wouldn't be excited by that? Let me ask you, Paul, Hopkins, any interest in him?
Yeah, apparently I'm going to bait him to punch me in the face to decrease his trade value. I've now found my new mission in life, so I will get right on that. Again, Hopkins is a super talented player. I'm so old. I remember him from his Clemson days. He's been in the league now for like a decade. But obviously he's a supremely talented wide receiver, big, dynamic. He checks off a lot of boxes. One of the things that will concern anybody and obviously would probably affect trade price, he is on a very good value contract wise. It's about 17.5 per year, which again, super reasonable for the player. It's just durability. He's missed a ton of games. He's been beat up. He had the suspension too during that last 2-year stretch. So you add all that together, that's a little off-putting. And then also in this conversation, we're like saying, man, they need a strong number 2. Maybe Alan Lazard is that strong number 2. Who knows? They just paid him $44 million for Pete's sake. So maybe he's that guy too. But Hopkins, again, I love the player. It would really depend on value. I heard someone float, though, that he may go for a 3rd or a 4th. Again, if that's the value for DeAndre Hopkins based on everything, obviously I'm more than willing to throw a 3rd or 4th into the fire for the potential of Hopkins.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Hopkins was my favorite receiver in the NFL. I couldn't believe when they traded him for a 2nd. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But hey,
Bill O'Brien, baby.
Yeah. And he's back with the Patriots. So in the role that he's really exceptional at, the Patriots spooked me a little bit, guys. Bill O'Brien going back there is not a good thing for us. He's gonna call a better game than Matt Patricia, I imagine.
I don't know if that's saying much.
Yeah, I know it's definitely not. It's going to be better though. That much I can probably guarantee you. Jets Cub checking in. Jets Cub fan says, "Wow, just tuned in. Get Buffalo on, and we got my 4 favorites." Well, ain't that nice? Thank you, Jets Cub fan.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Wow.
Now that's sexy. So do we roll with Zachy Poo as backup, or did we sign someone? I don't know. We didn't sign anyone. Gunny, you okay with Zach being the number 2? Or do you think we need to bring in a solid vet, assuming Rodgers comes? We need to bring in somebody that can play, and Zach's developing this year as the 3. What do you got?
I would like to bring in somebody. We're just one wrong hit, you know what I'm saying? One, flu happening or whatnot to seeing Zach Wilson out there a little too soon. And again, I'm not 100% out on Zach Wilson, but if we're making these kind of moves right now, bringing in freaking an Aaron Rodgers, I would like to think we want to put a competent backup that we would feel could hold down the offense while he's recovering from whatever he might be recovering from. So for me, I like to see Zach Wilson as the 3rd guy. So he's able to go ahead and sit back, legitimately learn. Because, again, I think we can all agree that Zach Wilson is not that he doesn't have the physical ability and the physical talent to play at this level. It's mental. And for me, the more he gets to sit, watch, take those mental reps behind an Aaron Rodgers would make me feel a lot better about seeing what he could potentially do down the road. Maybe now Marcus Mariota is not too bad of an individual to bring in, if I can say it out loud now, right? Because then you bring him in, he's potentially the backup to Aaron Rodgers. The good news is Aaron Rodgers is a guy who's been consistent in regards to like playing a full season. So this is a guy who he's tough as nails. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but man, I don't want to see Zach as number 2. I really want him to legitimately sit back and not worry about games, just worry about learning for the next year minimum.
Yeah, put his feet in an ice bath, just sit down, relax, get your nails did,
Get comfortable.
Take a breath. Paul, you feel the same way? You think Zach should be 3 or 2?
Again, if I was, getting these level of Green Bean super chats, I could afford apparently to put Zach Wilson as QB3 with this kind of salary pouring in. But I will say, ultimately, because of that, I don't think he's QB3. My expectation actually is he will be the backup quarterback, and I'd be surprised if he wasn't otherwise. That contract structure and the Jets saying hell or high water. Hell or high water doesn't sound like QB3 to me. So public commentary, private commentary, those combinations, fully expect from my perspective that Zach Wilson will be the QB2 this year. Is there a chance they get Brian Hoyer, who they explored 2 years ago for, a nickel? Maybe, but I truly think Zach Wilson's going to be the QB2.
So interesting, because I actually agree with Gunny. I would prefer to see Zach, like if you're going to do this whole develop Zach thing, obviously it's mental, just put him on ice, get him back there, emergency only. But who's left? Who are we going to get at number 2? And I certainly don't want to see us use a draft pick and then have to, have a rookie as the number 2. Jeremy, you waving me down? Jeremy, you waving? Okay. I thought you were trying to get my attention. Now, Cy Thompson, I don't know what this means. Paul Muller interview today. Is that you?
Yeah.
Paul? What's going on?
That is. Yeah. Cy, I appreciate the super chat and Green Bean member club that you went out of your way to give this a shout out. Yeah. The branding on this should be coming out. I don't do enough podcasts, obviously, Green Bean. So I just have to keep making up new ones. Every week I have the opportunity to speak with former NFL general manager Randy Mueller, and he actually interviewed for the Jets GM job a couple of years ago. We'll eventually be able to dive into that story and his cool interview with Woody Johnson. So we haven't told that story on air yet, but yes, normally it's every Thursday at 3:00, although because on top of being a former NFL general manager, he actually works in the XFL. He's the pro personnel director of the Seattle Sea Dragons. So long story short, he's got a very busy schedule. So normally it's every Thursday at 3:00, but every once in a while we do it in other places. And it was cool to hear his perspective as a former NFL general manager in a couple different spots. He was in Miami with Nick Saban. He was in Seattle for a long time. He was with the Saints with Mickey Loomis. So he just has kind of this rich history. So it was cool when I was asking about leverage play. Who the hell has the leverage, Packers or Jets? So we dove into that full board. That's on the YouTube channel and is every week with Randy Mueller.
I love it. That's fucking killer, man. Don't forget to go over there and check out Boy Green, man. If you haven't yet, you're going to be delighted. I assure you, he's one of the first I did. He got me into this whole thing. Sorry. I'm sorry about that, but he did it. You got to blame him. Red John checking in. He says, the Rams are having a fire sale. Aaron Donald, anyone? Let me tell you something. If you could ever dream up a better guy to sit next to Quinnen Williams, I mean, dude, could you imagine those two together? I don't know. That ain't never happening, though. I don't know. Red John, I love you. I don't know, man. Either one of you think that's real? Like it's like that could really happen.
The thing I don't understand is that the Rams have 2 feet in 2 different places. That, like, obviously, Bobby Wagner, sorry, get out of here. Although, he's coming off a relatively good year. You start looking at a couple of the players that they're apparently, like Jalen Ramsey, right? So they give him away for a half-eaten Snickers bar. Like, they want to blow this thing up because they're, their salary cap is boned. And again, it worked out. You won a Super Bowl. I would sign up if the Jets could do that tomorrow. But with that structure, you should say, if you're the Rams, well, we need to rebuild this from the ground up. See you later, Stafford. See you later, Cooper Kupp. See you later, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's great, obviously. But if I'm the Rams, I don't want to be in purgatory. That's the worst place you could be, hanging in the middle. Aaron Donald's, Matt Stafford's, and Cooper Kupp's could keep you around 6, 7, 8 games. Blow this thing up and get your Caleb Williams or anyone who you want, Drake May, in this next draft, and truly blow it up. I just hate being in one ballpark. Well, we're competing, but we're also rebuilding at the same time. Jet fans know that better than anybody during our run. So, right, Aaron Donald sounds crazy to be traded, but if I'm the Rams and I already traded Jalen, why wouldn't I trade everyone I possibly could for as many picks as possible? It went from F them picks to picks, please.
Yeah.
And that's
Please?
where we're
All
at.
them picks. F them picks to all them picks. Yeah, that's a great point, man. Mediocrity's tough because you never suck enough to get the premium talent, but you know what I mean? You don't win enough to do anything. It's that's even worse than sucking, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially unless you do maybe 1 year of it, but that's different. But yeah, man, I think they should too. Red John, your mouth to God's ears. Let's get it done, baby. Now, Jets Cub, you sent this exact one, so I'm not going to read it again, but I want to say thank you. And Jeremy will include you 2 times in the contests at the end of the show. As you guys know, we're giving away a Jets Jack. That's this right here. We're giving that away. Only 5 in existence. And we're also giving away a bag of Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier at the end of the show. All super chats of $5 or more are included in the contest. Now, we also have some trivia, too. Y2K's probably passed out. I don't know. He's laying down. We're going to get these guys on here soon. The show is just flying by. I can't believe it's almost 11 o'clock already. So thank you guys so much for sending all the support. It is greatly appreciated. Honestly, thank you. So Ablab checking back in. Oh, he's all right. Is my Jalen Carter. If Jalen Carter is there at 13, does JD take him? Knowing JD like we do. Now, look, I said that before, right? It all depends if this personal stuff, like the car leaving the scene and all that shit. He's also been known to have little rubs as far as his attitude and everything. So I got to be honest, as much as I would love it, I don't know if JD brings him in. Just on that alone, look at the culture they're building. You can see it. It's palpable how respectful and how much they genuinely like each other. And it's a very, very strong clubhouse. I don't know if they do. Gunny, I'll start with you. And then Paul, I'd love to hear what you think too. If he's there, you think JD pulls the trigger on the arguably best player sliding to 13?
Yeah, I think Jalen Carter is a definitive beast / dog, however you want to put it. The talent is undeniable. That situation, awful situation, 2 lives were lost. And I know that it was announced today that it's just going to be a 1-year probation and about 80 hours of community service. So he's no jail time, so he'll be available to play, get the training camp. But I did hear somewhere like he showed up to his pro day today, slightly out of shape or overweight or something like that.
Correct.
So
couldn't finish the drills. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, couldn't finish the drills. Right. So
good.
Like, I just don't see. Yeah, hey, there you go. I just don't see this being a Joe D kind of guy. I just don't. As uber talented as this kid is, I don't think Joe D is going to risk the 13th overall pick on some kid with this many question marks in terms of not only his dedication to the game, showing up to your own pro day, not ready for it, but slight character concerns. Racing 2 deaths were calls from that race. It doesn't sound like a Jody pick to me. As much as I love the talent and I'm thinking purely on the football field, this dude next to Quentin would be a freaking wrecking ball. But no, unfortunately, I don't think JD would pull the trigger on the Jalen Carter. He doesn't fit the mold of what he's trying to build with the Jets.
I didn't know that, Paul. I didn't see that one yet.
Yes,
I've been
that was
hanging
from
out at
today,
horseback riding lessons all day. So, Paul, you agree with me? That's some big news right there. Do you think Gunny's nailing it?
Absolutely not. Yeah, Gunny, wouldn't know his ass from his elbow here. Come on, people. 100% you run this card up to the pick. And guys, you guys will see it tomorrow. I actually have a great clip on this very topic. It's saved in my Twitter draft, so we'll be setting out that clip tomorrow on some insiders talking about this. And first off, it's possible. And I'll give you guys the scoop before the tweet goes out tomorrow, that a NFL draft guy spoke to teams inside the top 8 in the draft right now. And again, obviously we're in the middle of March, so things can change. There is only one team inside the top 8 from this draft source that said the team would even consider Jalen Carter. The others wouldn't even consider him at that point. So obviously if we consider that just from that source, that means he'd be available at least at 9. And obviously at 9, all of a sudden Jody could even trade up potentially if he gets within range. Obviously, and I need to make this all clear because I know that part was funny, but on a very serious note, 2 men's lives were lost because of, and I'm not saying it's because of Jalen Carter, just that whole situation, it's just tragic. The 2 lives were lost, and Jalen Carter told the police one story, and then he told the police a different story. So there's a lot of question marks. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an anything, so I can't speak in all the legalese of it. So there's obviously a lot there. And then obviously the pro day, showing up out of shape, and then, not being able to finish your own drills in it. All of that looks bad. But I believe he did all of that on purpose because he wants to go to the New York Jets. And I can appreciate the level of dedication with the weight and pro day stuff that he did. He ate a bunch of extra Twinkies so he could slide a little bit down the board for the New York Jets. So again, hell yes. I think a lot of people said this: Joe Douglas would never do this. Joe Douglas would never do that. Well, we're in new territory here. Again, he's never traded for a big star. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, would be the first. It's always you've never done something well until this happened.
That's right.
Okay. Joe Douglas has he's entering year 5 and they've been sucking. They've been losing. While he's putting together a great team, as GreenBean has highlighted several times during the show, and for good reason, they've put together a great roster. That's what resulted in crap because they haven't delivered to the game's most important position, quarterback. If you have a chance if you can't get Aaron Donald, Jalen Carter's the next best thing to put next to Quinnen Williams. They could go crazy. It's worth it. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. And if the Jets are risking it for Aaron Rodgers, they can't be like, well, that risk worth it. But Jalen Carter, no, you're either all in, you're all out. You can't pussyfoot around. I am all in on Jalen Carter at 13. And if he fell within range, I would not hesitate to trade up for his ass. The Laramie Tunsil thing happened a few years ago with the bong. Again, obviously dramatically different scenarios, but things happen where players' stock fluctuates. I'm willing to risk it to get the biscuit. I'm willing to bring in the best player in the draft. Say that one more time. Best player in the draft at 13, sign me the F up.
Interesting. We have 2 distinctly different takes. I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. I didn't know about that. Can't finish drills at your pro day, dude. That is not a good look. I will say I love Jalen Carter. He just might be my favorite player in the entire draft, but that's not a good look. We saw it with Ja'Kai Polite. He showed up to the combine, a little bit fat, a little bit smelling like booze and cigarettes maybe. So they didn't like him. The Jets drafted him, and Joe Douglas, when he came here right after that, cut him. They didn't even make it to training camp. He was gone. So I don't know. That's an interesting way to look at it. Paul does bring up a good point. And in my world, in the recovery world, we say our nevers are only our yets. That's all it is. Just because you never just means you never yet. That's all it is. So, right, we don't know what Joe Douglas will do. That's a great question, Ablab. I don't know. I'd be interested to see, though. Jets Strong, 1273 checking in. Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend lives in New York. What do you think about that? Anybody know who she is? Who is she? Anybody know?
She's the daughter of the Milwaukee Bucks owner or something like that. She's,
nice.
She's a billionaire. I mean, I know that.
So is it Shailene Woodley? Shailene? Does anyone know?
Beautiful young lady.
Yeah. Wow. Is she a model or something? Good Lord, have mercy.
Paul, put her up on screen. See on the present on the
yeah. Let me see this real quick. Yeah, 1 second. Oh yes. Okay, here we go. I don't know if that can I? Oh yeah, I can do that from here.
Yeah,
oh cool. Yeah, let me do that. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just didn't know I could do it on my end. Oh yeah, there you go. Booyah. Right here. There she blows. There she is. There. Boom.
Oh, there.
Nice.
Hold on. Here she comes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, did it not pop up on the screen? Oh, there. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, zoinks. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Okay. Yeah.
There you go, everybody. That's for your viewing pleasure. Okay.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes. Enjoy. God bless. Thank you.
There you go. She looks like a nice young lady. Thank you.
Great personality.
There you go. Thank you, Jet Strong. Now, Braden, our buddy from New Zealand, Beanbagger Supreme says the Jets, Jack. Hell yeah, we need one of those in the Southern Hemisphere. He's putting his name in the hat. Phil, he wants your Jets, Jack. Braden from New Zealand, you are in. And hey, man, maybe if we, look, if maybe Phil will be motivated to make a bunch more. Who knows? Maybe he makes 5 more of these things because they are beautiful, man. I love it. I mean, I'm telling you, I put it up. It was the first thing I hung up in here was the Jets, Jack. So, Braden, I hope you win too. I hope everybody wins this thing tonight. And if not, maybe you win the Liquid IV. That'd be a nice consolation prize, wouldn't it? But thank you, Braden. I appreciate it, buddy. And it's always good to have you in here. Braden loves linebackers. That's his thing. He was a oh, look, Phil's still in here. Phil, when you going to bed? When you going to bed, buddy?
Good question. Yeah.
Hey, look, Ryan's in here. Here he is. Jets Talk 24/7. Ryan is in the house. I just sent you the link. Ryan, if you want to hop in, fuck it. It's almost 11 o'clock. We'll stay here till 2 in the morning. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm in. He says, I was high on Carter, but he just showed up 9 pounds overweight. Yeah, that's that. Look, it changes things, man. I still love him. That's going to take a little bit more than 9 paltry pounds for me. But I don't know. It's still not a good look. All right. What else we got? Ryan, if you want to hop on, you can. The link's in your texts. How long is JD willing to hold from raw power? April, September? Well, Boy Green said next week. And Boy Green,
I believe that's what's happening. But again, I don't think it ever gets to September. If obviously, again, because the Brett Favre thing was unique. We all know how that happened, and that happened in August. There is a point of, and Gunby brought this up earlier, of a Woody Johnson stepping in saying enough is enough. And I would assume that's in the May-June range. If we get after the draft and the Packers are still somehow digging their heels in, and God bless our souls if it really takes that long for that to happen, I think there is a Woody Johnson made-up deadline in his head where he just steps in and says enough is enough. Because, here's the thing. We haven't talked about this yet, Green Bean, but I think it has to be presented. We wouldn't have gotten to this point if the Jets and Packers weren't close. If the Jets called Green Bay, which they did, by the way, around the Super Bowl, and the Packers said, we want 7,000 first-round picks, and the Jets go, okay, I guess that's not going to happen. The conversation would have ended right there. That obviously did not happen. So we're within range. The Packers said, I don't know specifically what they said, but 2 first-round picks, and the Jets go, a first and a third, and now we're just waiting for the middle ground to be made up, and what is that point? So again, it's close enough that they've been talking for a month plus. We're on March 16th right now. They've been speaking for over a month about this trade. They're obviously close. It's just about getting it over the hump. It's getting it over the goal line. We wouldn't be at this point. Connor Hughes has done a great job of this, speaking, Green Bean favorite, obviously. And it was awesome for you guys to connect the dots of the Senior Bowl. Your brother from another mother on this, what do you say, slapdick show? That's great.
That's
hopefully
right.
That's on a t-shirt.
Slapdick.
Yeah, hopefully that's on a t-shirt. But, he's done a really good job of saying this, sort of similar to what I'm saying, that, again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't close enough. It's crossing T's, dotting I's now from my standpoint. So a good question, Raw Power, on how long is he willing to hold. I don't think we ever get to that point.
Paul, I'm going to tell you something right now. That's my next t-shirt. Green Bean Jets fan, a slapdick podcast. That's coming.
You better do that. And you better send me one.
I got to
I don't know why you didn't. Because again, Adam Schefter, right? He has the lose my number thing. He makes it on a t-shirt the next day. Green Bean, I'm telling you, 12 months later. Come on, pal. Make it. And then my only request is you send me a gosh darn t-shirt for pizza.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
You know it. I'll send you the first one, Paul. That's a promise.
Great. There you go.
That's a promise.
Beautiful.
So we were just done with the super chats, and the main catch jumps in with a super chat. And he says, I think JFM slides to defensive tackle and we start Jermaine Johnson at the edge position, or Huff or Lawson on the other side, and we pick up some depth along the way. Now, look, a lot of fans, myself included, have been kind of discussing this desire to move JFM on the inside a little bit more consistently. The Jets don't seem to want to do that. They do it at times, but they like him on the edge. Paul, because you're an inside guy, what do you hear about this? I mean, is there any possibility that what the main catch is saying, that the Jets could like kind of bolster the edge and then move JFM to defensive tackle more full-time? Do you see that?
It's like in the dating phase when you've been seeing a girl for a little while and then she asks you, hey, are you ready to be boyfriend, girlfriend? And you go, I don't really like labels. So that's where we're at. Like for the people that say JFM, let's push him to defensive tackle. The Jets go, we don't really like labels. So they're like playing them all over the place. Michael Clemens is a guy that learned every other position on the Jets defensive line, and he learned it all so he could play everywhere. For instance, the JFM thing. You can look at the analytical numbers. You can look at the data on how often he plays here, there, or where. I don't think a permanent slide, and main catch, you didn't say that, but I feel like you were suggesting, implying it, that a permanent slide in could make sense to solve, in theory, their defensive tackle issues. I don't believe the Jets want to put themselves in that box. I don't think they like, to use my own analogy, the label. I think they like that they can move all over the place. They like that Huff and Lawson and Jermaine Johnson, and I mentioned Michael Clemens earlier, could go all over the place. I think they will continue to do that. So they just want to stock the shelf of the generic label defensive lineman and then add as many bodies to it as possible. So I do not envision, sorry, Jet fans, I know there's a lot of them that kind of bring up this point all the time. The Jets seem unwilling that's probably too strong of a word, but unwilling to just say, all right, JFM, you're a defensive tackle. I don't think they will or will ever do that.
Look, proof is in the pudding, right? We haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I see main catch. Cy Thompson agrees with you too, though. There you go. Look, there's quite a few Jets fans that think that is the way to do it. And look, maybe need will, just it'll present itself in such a way that is what they do. But I think Paul nailed it with that one. Now, Mike B. Gunny checking in. He's talking about the Super Bowl. He said, look, we got to stay grounded here, right? But this is fucking pretty good, man. To finally win the Super Bowl, he's speaking it into existence. Gunny, if you had $1,000 and you had to pick one or the other, Jets winning the Super Bowl this year?
Wow.
Come on.
You piece of trash.
If I had $1,000, I already bet $100 on it at plus 2,200. $1,000 with Aaron Rodgers. Man, if our offensive line can stay healthy, I really think that our defense is good enough. And I think with Aaron Rodgers, we can literally see Garrett Wilson take a monumental leap. I really believe Elijah Moore and freaking Denzel Mims are going to show us they're legitimate wide receivers in this league. Like, fuck it. Yeah, I bet $1,000 on it.
There we go. Finally, some peer pressure pushes this man over the top for Pete. Because he's had all these caveats, like, if the offensive line stays healthy, if we score more points than the opponent on a week-to-week basis, then yes, I would do it. Of course, $1,000, my child's college education. I'm pushing all of it in on the Jets winning the Super Bowl. You have Aaron Rodgers, you have a freaking chance, baby. Come on, people. Stay grounded. Screw your staying grounded. Take flight, baby. Hashtag take
we just got to witness. We just witnessed Gunny's whole process. He just I don't know. Guy landed on the same spot.
I just needed a second. I just needed a second. It's $1,000. I got four kids.
Now, Ron, right? Exactly. You have a specific thought process now, right? You got to go through the reality of it. Now, Ron Weiss, not that I won't accept super chats after this, but after Ron Weiss's, we're going to do the trivia. And we're going to start to get Y2K on here and Jeremy, and we're going to have a little party. So Ron Weiss, he just wants in on that jet jack. He says the jet jack is something I was geefoog. What does that mean, Paul? You know what geefoog?
Go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. When we found out A-Rod was oh yeah, look at you coming here. Gotta love GreenBean, Boy Green, and Gunny. Yeah, there you go, Ron. And I'm thankful.
A lot of G.
I'd have never figured that out. Geefoog. Yeah. I never would have got it. I'm old and tired.
Another T-shirt. Another T-shirt. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Ron, you're included into the contest, and thank you, man. We appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get Y2K on here, and we're going to do some trivia. Y2K, are you ready? All right, there he is. And for shits and giggles, I'm going to bring Jeremy on too because he looks like he really wants to come on, and he's been doing a bang-up job in the background. Jeremy's crushing it. So let's say hello to Jets Chaos as well.
It's funny that you say I'm ready to come on because I just dove over the bed after getting a drink and banged my knee.
By the way, let's give a round of applause to Mr. 500 subscribers, Watu2K over there.
Oh,
Got that the other night. So yes, 500
go.
subs, baby. Yes.
right.
And Boy
It's
Green,
the hardest
I give you and Buffalo a lot of the credit for helping to push me over the hump. So I got to give you a bunch of the credit for that. Thank
There
you.
you go. Again, you could just send the royalty check after the show. Appreciate it.
After YouTube takes their share, you'll be down to about $3.
That's it, right?
That's exactly right, man. YouTube, dude, they don't
That's good.
fuck around. This isn't no Patreon. This is YouTube. They take 30+.
That's fucking unbelievable.
Isn't
by the
it
way.
though, man?
That's, you know,
It's
that's
crazy. But hey, here we are. Watu2K is gonna give us a question that he found. He did all this by himself. No one helped him. The rules are we have 4 minutes to answer this jet-related question. We are not allowed to Google, use any other search engines, or the Encyclopedia Britannica. We want to do this on our own knowledge. Let's see if
Honesty.
we can do it. No cheat, right? It's the honor program here, Paul. So there we go. Those are the rules. Watu2K, let her go.
Okay, so we're going to do a trivia question tied into the NCAA men's basketball tournament. We had a big upset today as Furman University defeated the University of Virginia.
I know,
I'm sure
this town was miserable.
I know.
Job.
Although,
They
isn't Furman
stopped
kind of
first.
close to Virginia? So
it's in Greenville, South Carolina. I actually had a friend in college who transferred.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to a D3 school in Boston. He transferred and played college ball at Furman. So I'm actually pretty happy for him. It was the first time in the NCAA since 1980, and they upset Virginia.
UVA, my wife works at UVA, and her whole job stopped today to watch it. A heartbreaker.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, all right, Watu2K, go ahead. Nobody's going to get this because we're Jets fans, but go ahead nonetheless. Let's do it.
I actually think this is a gettable question. I think you can get this one. So it's actually related to Furman University. The Jets have drafted one player in their history who played college ball at Furman. Who was that player? Your time starts now.
Who was the player that we got out of Furman University?
I really think you can get this. I really do.
All right, give us an era.
We got 446 people in the chat. I really believe somebody's going to get this.
Give me an era. All right, let's see. Let's see. And there's nobody in here. We got Forrest Gump.
That's nice.
No, that was not his home. The Forrest
And
Gump
we drafted him
Alabama.
from there.
In fact, somebody's already got the right answer. Just
What
like
is it?
that.
Nathan Shepard?
Nope.
No,
he was
Beck?
from
Anthony Beck?
No, he was from West Virginia.
West
It's not
Virginia.
Anthony Beck.
Dakota
he's West
Dozier.
Virginia.
Dakota
Dozier, the 4th round pick guard.
Yep.
Damn it.
Part of the
I would've
Instinct
never
12.
guessed that.
It was Dakota Dozier.
I could have gotten that one. Damn
I knew
it.
somebody was- I figured it'd be Curly Norman again. He's like my nemesis. I figured he might get it. Mr. Magic's tonight. So
Dozier's still in the league. He was like on the Bears or something. His leg exploded last year and he was out for the year, but he was still in the league last year. Yeah.
He's had a good run as just a steady, dependable backup offensive lineman, and there is something to be said for that. As hard as it is to find a good old lineman nowadays, so
we see a lot of people now that Mr. Magic's got it. There's like 15 people that know the answer. Amazingly, I'm very impressed. I'm really it's amazing how that happened. They don't always lose in the tourney. They were the champions 4 years ago. But
although the year before that, 16-1. UMBC.
And they had the greatest upset in college basketball history the year before that. So there's part of their it's part of their DNA. A little bit. But we love our UVA down here, man. It's it runs that's everything here. It's the University of Virginia. It runs this town. Everything is UVA. So we love it. But thank you, Watu2K. That was a good one. And congratulations. You don't win anything, but except you get the pride, Mr. Magic's. You're the man tonight. Mr. Magic's is the man. Ron Wise checking back in saying, that's right. The Jets Jack is what I was doing, man. That's what I want. Well, look, Ron, I hope you win it. You and Braden and Leo and everybody else. This is going to be great. And I think I saw one more. Nope. Okay, let's do the content. Is that it, Jeremy? Am I done?
14. Yeah.
All right. Thanks to
Tingo's bringing back a player from 1963, Olin Hill, that allegedly was drafted from Furman. They were the Titans back then. It doesn't count.
And also the modern draft era is 1970 and after. So we're going pre-modern draft era, which technically wouldn't count for any of those draft comments.
I hear the ghost of Frankie every time I start to go back to the 60s, just shaming me for ever bringing up Titans questions. Yeah.
All right. So, So everybody wants the Jets Jack. So, Jeremy, you have them all on a list there?
I have 34 entries.
34 entries tonight. Okay, we are going to do this. It's real simple, man. It happens almost too fast. I'd love to make it a drawn out, but we don't. We just get it right to it. So here it is, the randomizer. Hold on. And I'll bring it up on the screen in just a second. Here it comes. All right. So we have 34. So we're just going to pick a number between 1 and 34. The first one, okay, there's 2 contests tonight. Now, Jeremy, I'll give you choice. The first one wins either the Jets Jack or the Liquid IV. I kind of want to do the Jets Jack last, but I'm going to give it to you. Which one should the first guys win, and which one should the second guys win?
Well, as one of the proud owners of one of the only 5 of those Jet Jacks in existence, I think that has to be the second and, the grand prize. And the Liquid IV, it's a great product. It's a great prize, but I think it should come right now first.
Okay. Makes sense to me. I love it. So here we go, guys. We have 34 entrants, and we're picking a number between 1 and 34. It happens fast, and then Jeremy's just going to count down the line, and we're going to do it this way. 1, 2, 3. Here she comes. Number 27, Jeremy. Who we got? Wow. Who's winning this bag of Liquid IV?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We got 2 bags. Now, Tony Alexio gets choice. Tony, if you send me your address in my email, remember, it's in my description. You're the one who won first. You get choice, either this energy multiplier or, I don't know where I put it. It's around here somewhere, or a regular pack. It's lemon lime hydration multiplier. So you would get choice unless the other person emails me first. They get choice. So, Jeremy, who wins?
You're not going to believe it.
I am. Tony Alexi.
It's a repeat winner. Leo Vernaccio.
There you go.
All right.
Leo crushing it these last weeks. He won a T-shirt to me. Hey, Leo, by the way, I did track the package. It said it should have arrived today, interestingly enough. It says in my thing, delivered. So maybe it's just delivered to the guy who's going to deliver it to you. I don't know, but it says delivered. Hopefully you got your shirt. If not, it'll be there any second. But you win Liquid IV. So once again, you have my email. Go ahead and send me if you want this one or the other one. If Tony Alexio doesn't beat you, then you get choice. All right. So there it is. Now, congratulations, Leo. Now we're going to do, this is for all the marbles. The Jets Jack right here. Here it comes. Just so you guys.
One of only 5 ever.
Only 5 ever made right there.
Limited edition.
Limited edition. Created by the birthday boy, Phil Adams, over there in Stoke-on-Trent in the UK. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Number 6. I like it.
1, 2,
who is it?
4, 5, 6. AbLab Studios.
AbLab.
Oh, well deserved after tonight's investments.
I went up the list from the bottom to go back, and he's number 6.
There you go. AbLab, you win the Jets Jack. You have my email. You've contacted me before. Go ahead, send me the address and everything, and we will give that to you. Congratulations, man. You deserve it. So congrats to Leo and AbLab. Amazing. So let's do this. Let's go around this panel. See what the hell is going on. Jeremy, what do you got coming? Tell everybody what's up with you.
I don't know. No, Sunday nights. Sunday nights
Why
it's
your
gonna
new
get
channel?
really, it's really gonna get intense with Dom C on Sunday nights as we close towards the draft. We're gonna be reviewing more positions. He's gonna be giving his top 10 breakdowns of every player in his top 10. Then we're gonna start doing like top 10 overall and all kinds of things as Dom is finishing up his draft book that he's been working on for the past few months. And of course, Jets Chaos every Wednesday for Wacky Wednesday. We had a great time last night with Jack from Jets Media and the Jet Show. And we'll be bringing back fun guests every week on Wacky Wednesday.
I love it. What about Jeremy has a brand new channel, everybody. It's called The Cravat Attack. And it's good. He does food reviews with his brothers, and it's a blast. Go over there and give him some support. Cravat Attack on YouTube. I like it. You're gonna like it. It's Jeremy. Jeremy is in his real natural habitat. True. This is where he fucking belongs, man. You'll see it. The comfort level is high. Y2K, what do you got cooking, Mr. 500 subs?
Well, now we're on the quest for 600, and then 7,
That's
8,
great.
9. We just keep on going with the steady climb. But did 2 videos today. One was a Knicks related video. One was a Mets related video. I spent a few minutes just venting about the season-ending injury to Edwin Diaz. I did a good amount of yelling, emphasizing the meaninglessness of the World Baseball Classic. If anybody enjoys it, I hope nobody's offended, but I don't care. I'm pissed off because he shouldn't have gotten hurt in that situation. So, those are the most recent videos that we put out. There's always going to be more stuff coming. So, hey, thanks everybody for watching, and it's always good being on with GreenBean and Gumby. Like it was tonight. So.
That's right. You know what's funny though? Somebody suggested, I missed so many comments, of course, but I saw one that said we got to make a Gumby emoji. So I said, you know what? It's a great idea. That's going to stick. I'll have the Gunny Gumby emoji made, and maybe we'll stick a Green Bay Packers helmet on it or something for his wife too. Some sort of homage. We'll see. Gunny, speaking of you, what do you got coming up, buddy?
Yeah, I just got my YouTube channel unlocked finally. So I've posted a couple of videos this last week. One specifically in regards to the Aaron Rodgers acquisition. I know it's not officially yet in terms of paper, but I think for me was the biggest thing was Aaron Rodgers saying he wanted to be a Jet. So for me, we got the guy. And I also did one about the Jalen Ramsey acquisition of the Miami Dolphins and him stating that now they had the best quarterback duo in the NFL. I thought that was comical. So I did a video about that to go ahead and debunk the lies of Jalen Ramsey. So those ones just got posted this week. So feel free to go ahead and check those out. And in homage of us also getting Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be doing a Joe Namath autographed jersey giveaway. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And once I hit that, I'm going to do the first 1,000 subscribers are qualified to win the autographed Joe Namath.
Oh, I love it.
Can I show it to them now? I mean, I'm already here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Paul's already said he's here as long as we want him here, so we can fucking
That's true.
out all night.
So it's going to be an autographed Joe Namath jersey.
I love it. Look at this. Look at Gunny, man.
Jeez.
Wow.
Rocking it.
So boom.
You said this is a Rodgers jersey?
No,
Oh,
Joe Namath.
That's what he
Joe
said.
Wait,
Did I say Rodgers?
Down below there.
I missed that.
Yeah, what's all those words?
Yeah, there's more down there.
It
His
says, I just gave this
accomplishments?
number to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
Broadway
Oh,
Joe.
that's cool. All records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Accolades.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was with
Yeah,
Farrah
so I'm gonna be
Fawcett.
giving that
Was
away.
with Farrah Fawcett. Was with Ann Margaret. It should list the whole list of women.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
rookie
Yeah.
of the
That's
year,
what it should have on it.
1965, 4,007 passing yards, 1967, Super Bowl III MVP, Hall of Fame, 1985. Of course, Broadway Joe Namath. So, yeah, giving that one out.
So he's done a few
so,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a few things, trying to go ahead and get back in the fold. Finally got my channel back up and running.
Nice. Well, there you go. And let's give Gunny our support as well. Paul, what do you want to tell these fine people in the chat tonight?
Sure. Last week we had a great lineup of guests. We had Bryce Huff, New York Jets defensive lineman, on the show, which was great. We had Field Yates, ESPN NFL insider, and then, like I said, my weekly show with Randy Mueller. Next week we've got a Packers insider joining us to give us an interesting opposite perspective. That's Tyler Dunn of formerly of Bleacher Report and Go Long, and we're also working to get one of the other ESPN NFL insiders on. So it'd either be Jeremy Fowler, Dan Graziano, or Jeff Darlington, I think, is the other one. We're working with their schedules to see which one of those guys is coming on. And then again, another Randy Mueller show. And of course, we're going to have one of you lovely people on. It'll be one of you Elite Four. I will reveal that. One of you Elite Four will join me for the Sick Pod Jets. Again, bringing, for those of you who missed it earlier, we bring fellow Jets content creators on to talk ball. So that'll be happening. I believe that's going to be on Monday. So one of you guys, check the DMs, baby. You could be that lucky person for this week, but all of you will eventually be on the show, of course.
Amaze balls. And Paul, once again, thank you for being here. Boy Green Esden, right there before your eyes for your viewing pleasure. Thank you. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks for the incredible support. Please don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. And if you have not subscribed, ain't no time like right now. It's how we grow, and it is greatly appreciated. Guys, thanks again. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.